Just let me know when we're recording. The stardate is 60132. The last we looked into the adventures of the Achilles, we had seen them interact with the intergalactic colony ring and plotted a dimensional jumping course back to the Milky Way galaxy. And that's where we're going to pick up rather quickly from that point onward. It is going to be a 2-threat game, just for the record. But to recap a little bit further than that, the Achilles is fully repaired. Oh, right, they fully repaired your ships. I almost forgot about that myself. I thought they were damaged.
Yep.
Both ships are repaired. That's awesome. That will make life easy for all of us. Whoop.
Hey, what's the secret trait? Infected with nanites.
Okay. So, in the central crystal structure, in the center of this massive ring, a few people had gathered to enter into the computer of the ship the coordinates that are required to get you back home. And all of you felt as if you were free falling. And then you stopped. Your various readouts suggest to you that the dimensional jump is complete. Except there's a warning light. Emergency stop activated. Diagnosing. You may give me a reason plus con difficulty 2. The station will be assisting you.
I'll use a medal to make that a difficulty 1 con task.
Which medal?
Fuck, I've got to scroll through. The Exploration Division decoration. You can choose either con or science when you take it, and you can reduce a task by 1 to a minimum of 1. I chose con.
Roger. So difficulty 1 task.
Because it's reason I have a reroll, so I'm just going to roll the 2.
Ryloff, you can totally assist because you are present in the room.
Mental prowess?
I'll have to say no. It's not that difficult a calculation you're doing.
Lead by example, if Rylov is assisting?
I'll take lead by example because Shisha Shreer isn't leading. You are.
Reason con.
We all.
Holy shit, we're at 4 momentum.
I just about did not turn down my complication range. And this is to figure out, right?
This is to figure out what the alert. There's an alert warning that there's the jump completed, but there's a warning light, and the computer's diagnosing what's wrong.
Yeah, so investigative technique focus.
I'd say so. Yeah.
It's that or paranoia. No, I didn't think so. I've got a reason of 8.
So yeah, 4 momentum generated. Pan, you recognize that this station, this colony ring, has stopped short of the galactic barrier. Actually, it stopped rather precisely at the Starfleet recommended distance for when approaching the galactic barrier, as if they were worried they were going to run into it. Because normally you don't want to get within X amount of light years of the barrier, otherwise side effects tend to happen to your ship. So there's a prescribed number that you told them about, so they stopped short. It would seem, according to the computer, that they moved up into hyperspace, and they brought you with them, basically, and then tried to move into your galaxy. But the sensors detected the barrier even at the hyperspace layer, so they dropped back down to regular space time, and they stopped short. So you're way closer than you were a few seconds ago. But they did stop short of the barrier.
So the galactic barrier extends 4D.
Apparently so.
We're about 20 years closer.
For momentum, you can actually know how much closer you are.
Sure.
Well, I have faith of the heart.
You are, if you're going by the Achilles speed, have about 9.975. 9.975. You're actually about 2 days away from Narendra Station. You're Z up a sector, basically. But the downside is that's assuming the galactic barrier doesn't screw you on the way through. But
No.
raw distance, you're actually just 2 days away at high warp. The problem is you now have this massive galactic barrier that that conventional warp travel has never been done before. Every time anyone's ever gone through it has been through unconventional, faster than light travel. It also looks like the computer's doing calculations, like it's trying to recalibrate for the barrier again. Like you tried your best to tell the computer how to account for the barrier, but they didn't know and you didn't know that it was still a barrier in hyperspace. It was assumed, and this is something that Starfleet assumed was true, was that it only affected the space-time and lower layers. It didn't. Hyperspace by its nature is above. It's over space, as it were, in theory. So you should be able to just go over the wall, theoretically, except the wall seems to extend into theoretical infinity. Which that's news to you, and that's news to the computer. So the computer's trying its best to figure out a solution, but it doesn't seem to be forthcoming with an answer yet.
Well, it seems we're about 2 days away from the Narendra Station, but the galactic barrier is in the way. Any ideas, 0-1?
Prevailing theory at this time is to enable the primary shielding system and calibrating for the spatial hazard, at which point the shield will hold long enough to pierce the barrier. Once within the barrier, the hull plating should be enough to withstand the rigors of this anomaly and come out the other side. The problem that is presented is that is sufficient for this colony ring. However, it is unknown if your more primitive vessels and shielding systems will be able to withstand the same strain. Dimensional travel is not recommended through the galactic barrier. Conventional space-time travel will have to be done. Current power allocations are being done at this time, and calibrations of the shields are being done. Can attempt to assist with your efforts for your ships, but unsure if possible for your ships to perform the same acts of the station due to the technological difference.
Understood. For now, we'll all head back to our ships and link in with yourself here on the central console. Hopefully we'll be able to come up with some ideas to assist.
Acknowledged.
And a symbol for everyone to go back to their ships and come up with ideas.
Let's go back to the ship. You guys go back to yours. And we'll cut to a new scene at the briefing room aboard the Achilles. If I can find it again. This one? It is.
Oh, Jesus, I need to zoom in.
The station's huge. So, there's, of course, Pend, Throlic, Arlen, Ryloff are present for the meeting, as other members of the senior staff are attending to other things. Specifically, Cadet Fen is working on. Actually, Cadet Fen's working on something, but the Science Officer Drebin will be present, representing the Science Department. Your Chief Medical Officer Kaval was helping with a certain cadet who's having his own problems aboard the station, as I recall, because he was having weird visions of strange things. So medical sends Specialist Daba, and of course Flight is represented by the ever-present Shishishrir. So yeah.
Well, the good news is we are now 2 days away from Narendra Station. The bad news is apparently the galactic barrier goes all the way up into hyperspace. So we're kind of stuck at the barrier.
Well, at least we didn't spend 20 years traveling just to find that out.
Well, yeah, little victories. So I know the 01 is currently doing its own calculations, but I wanted to specifically put it to the crew if anyone has any ideas of what we could do to possibly aid ourselves, the Klingons, and the station entering the galaxy.
I don't have much knowledge regarding the galactic barrier, save that it exists.
Similar.
Well, generally, when things pass through the galactic barrier, it's through unusual means, and each one seems to be different. That's about as much as I know.
Well, maybe we can look over these previous means and see if there's any that we can and safely reproduce. At least give us a starting angle and tell us all the bad ideas.
Reason Con difficulty 2, assisted by your ship's computers plus con.
Oh, screw it, I'll do it again.
There's also, I doubt it would tell us all of the bad ideas. I assume most of those led to destruction.
What are you doing, Alan?
Ha! It works. Never mind. Continue.
Look, this computer's come. That's Wigging 2.
So the two most well-known records in Starfleet history bypassing the galactic barrier was the Enterprise D, with the help of the Traveler, who was able, through the power of willing the ship to a place, was able to transpose the ship at incredible warp speeds to distant places across the universe and beyond normal understanding of existence. So theoretically, that sounds like through the ocean of consciousness, there may be some methodology that can propel your ship faster, so fast that it doesn't feel the effects of the barrier. The second method, same issue, same idea, different method, was the U.S.S. Voyager, which achieved the warp 10 because it went so fast that it was in all places of the universe at the same time. So it simply just bypassed the barrier because it was in all places of space, technically, although not, until it eventually stopped at some wind or some place. So again, it's a matter of incredible speed, because the problem is, in Starfleet records, one of the first encounters with the galactic barrier was the NCC 1701 Enterprise, where it even pierced the barrier. It just got close enough that it basically hyperactivated the psionic abilities of some of the crew and created a lot of problems for them. And that's just, they didn't even get into the barrier, they were just near it. So there's always that worry. So theoretically, if one goes fast enough, the barrier doesn't affect you. And the thing is, their ship doesn't move. It suddenly occurs to you why the hyperspace method didn't work, because the dimensional drive it's not fast by sheer propulsion through space-time. It's bypassing it in a different way. It can very slowly move through dimensions, and then it's like it's like trying to lift your foot over an obstacle and then putting your foot on the other side. And you can do that. You can make large strides when you do that. Thing is, you don't need to go terribly fast. But the problem with that is that seems to block their method. Then again, dimensional travel technology you've only just encountered a practical version of it. So maybe there's something they could do. As for your technology, either someone with incredible sonic ability could possibly propel the ship forward. I'm talking incredible, not like ability. Or you need to somehow get your ship to go to warp 10 without basically ripping the ship apart.
Or
even the
turning us all
Voyager
into
could do it,
lizards.
but it couldn't do it safely. For a momentum, I'll add an additional thing that is related to your question, but may be of help here.
Sure.
Theoretically, one thing that's somewhat established science now is the myth sonic shield may theoretically shield you from the galactic barrier. It's never been tested. At least nothing on Starfleet records been tested. Other organizations may have tried it, but Starfleet has not greenlit that particular test, simply because they are very nervous about anything to do with the galactic barrier, just because of how high risk it is. Because you could lose a ship if you guess wrong, and ships have been lost with experiments over the years. So the Federation Council has generally banned galactic barrier experiments that involve interacting with it. So long range telescopes and stuff, sure, but not a starship actually touching the barrier.
One possible course of action, Captain, would be to, given our current distance from Narendra, try to establish subspace channels to the resources the Federation has in the area. While we are still some ways away, it could be possible to communicate at a reasonable time frame now.
I'm not opposed to that idea. We can definitely send off a ping to see what type of response time we're getting. Considering we're 2 days away from the Narendra station, it just depends on how much the galactic barrier is going to cause interference. I mean, from the information we have, I'm not opposed to the idea of trying to use the myth shielding technique, but maybe do more with it, or more than just the shielding.
In what manner, sir?
What if we used the tractor beam as a repulsing spear using the same type of technology to pierce through the barrier with the shielding up? Like driving a wedge forward.
I don't have any idea whether that would work.
Neither do I. Kind of like a snowplow.
Best I can think of is either we try to tank the galactic barrier or outrun it. So I'm willing to go either direction, Captain.
This ship is far more inclined towards tanking.
Well, that's why I was thinking if we did activate the myth type shielding and used a repulsing wedge in front of us, it may allow us that just brief extra push to get through. But
what besides the psionic stuff, what other effects are we worried about within the galactic barrier? Maybe if we can mitigate enough of them and we can tank the rest.
I don't think that generally it's just unknown and random causes.
Well, I can only account for so many unknown variables.
Well,
We can see what we have on record that might be useful, I suppose. But
well, we have access to 01's database and contact with them. So we can run this idea or any others that I come up with 01. Hopefully something seems like a reasonable idea at the end of it.
yes. Permission to head back to the... Permission to reach out to command and inform them of our current situation?
Please
Because
do.
we haven't been in contact for a while now.
Yeah, well, so hopefully, considering it's only 2 days away, it shouldn't be that much of a delay, but it will let us know what type of response from the galactic barrier is causing.
Indeed.
Ensign Draven, I'd like you to, however fruitless it may be, try and get whatever scans of the galactic barrier to see if we can pick up something that could be of some assistance to break through it. Maybe because we're on the other side of it, it may provide some new insight.
Aye, sir. We'll start beginning the calculations to scan it at extreme range. Failing that, we may use probes, but we're going to start from distant approaches first and then work our way in, simply because we don't know how it's going to interact with our sensors. Because generally, when others have scanned the barrier, it was fairly hard to detect, but we have much better sensor suite than your average starship that's looked at it. And I agree with you, sir. Seeing it from the other side, there may be different. Perhaps it's more visible on the other side of the mirror.
Well, that's kind of what I'm hoping. Even if we can only glean the slightest insight, that's better than having none whatsoever.
Aye, sir.
Specialist Dabber, could you make sure our injuries are... medbay is ready to receive in case we have any psychic events or psionic events?
I'll make sure to tell the doctor to prepare for it, sir.
I'd like to be able to give you a more precise description of what to expect, but, well...
The thing is, sir, that if we have anything like what the first Enterprise ran into, there's not a whole lot we can do if we have mass sonic events happening on the ship. At which the medical solution to the problem would be get away from the fire that's setting you on fire. Same idea. If this thing is causing us to have sonic crises, then we need to be away from the thing that's causing it. But I understand that we need to get through it somehow. So I'll talk with the doctor about it, but my best guess is that we're going to be passing out a lot of sedatives or getting ready to sedate people as needed.
Well, if you need any assistance, reach out to Mr. Rylov and the security staff. If there's anyone with medical training, they can render assistance.
Aye, sir.
Mr. Allen, I'd like you to coordinate with 01 and possibly the Klingon vessel. Try and come up with some solutions before too long. At least then once we have more than one solution, because I don't think mine is the best.
So, we're still in the theory crafting stage.
Very much so. We have too
Aye,
little
sir.
information for me to go, this is exactly what we're doing.
Alright, I'll get the workbench out.
Lieutenant Shreya, keep us in steady orbit with the station and the Klingon vessel, but if the ensign requires you to get closer, just edge slowly closer, please. Let's not start hitting our face against a barrier.
Captain, we're currently docked with the station at the moment. Do you want me to undock?
Only if the ensign requires you to get closer for
Okay.
better readings.
Okay. Understood, sir.
And I'm trying to think of something for Rylov to do.
Attempt the communications with Starfleet.
Yeah,
Probably.
sure. If you want to assist the commander with communications to Starfleet, please, Mr. Rylov.
Captain.
So unless there's anything else anyone wishes to ask or put forward,
No, sir.
then for now, this meeting is dismissed, and let's hope we all find something.
Aye, sir.
Hi, sir.
Alright,
I can.
get up and go directly to the engineering lab.
I'll head to my quarters, or ready room. Oh, new beer.
Bridge. Back to medical.
Hello, Cadet.
Hello, Ben.
Hello.
I believe
Oh,
those two are also on the bridge.
what, you two are heading to the bridge? Okay.
That's where you do
Yeah.
communications from, typically. So yeah.
I mean, you could do it from here. You just increase difficulty because you're overriding.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Someone just met, quickly right up in the Achilles Discord chat, where we're at.
We've just had a meeting. We're outside the galactic barrier, 2 days away from the Rendra, and I've just given a mission directive for everyone to fulfill.
Yeah, Drebin's about to approach. When we get back to the bridge, Drebin's about to tap you for the job for a job at the moment. Basically, the dimensional jump did work, but it stopped short of the barrier instead of crashing into it. And now it's figuring out how you gonna get through the barrier through conventional means.
Yeah, completely got it.
Yeah, don't worry. The Drebin has orders for you from on high.
I tried to keep them reasonable orders.
Yeah. But yes, anything you're doing, Pen, from the ready room before I cut to the bridge?
Yeah, twofold. One is to figure out the viability of the plan I put forward, and the other is to use what data we have and what's being shared from 0-1.
Give me momentum will answer that for you. You've done a recent con roll on the subject already.
Like, because my plan isn't the best one, but it's not the dumbest idea in the world.
Well, as for viability, data, it's possible. Whether it will work or not, you are the first Starfleet vessel to be approaching the galactic barrier from the other side through conventional means. So whether it's actually going to work, you don't know. You can guess, and in theory, it should work. But you don't know for sure, and you're the first Achilles class in the fleet, so maybe there's some unique factor the Achilles can do. Maybe this new species can do something. Maybe the Maymok has some special tech. There's a lot of unknowns that you're not sure of, but it isn't impossible, that you know. Secondly, as far as 0-1's concerned, they never encountered a galactic barrier. They've gone from galaxy to galaxy to galaxy. They've never run into a galaxy that was shielded like this. So they're doing a lot of guesswork on their own, and it seems their strategy is simply to tank it because they have such robust hull plating that they figure they're going to be able to weather the storm on the way through. And given the technology they have, that's very possible for them. They may be able to just brute force it and force their station to go through. But is that guaranteed? Uncertain. Maybe there's something unique about the galactic barrier that they may not be able to figure out, or something may interact in a way they don't know. Until you make that leap of faith, it's hard to say how well it's going to turn out. And what you've gotten your crew to do to find as much data as you can is turning it less from a leap of faith into a logical progression. So that's that I hope that answers the question as best I can answer the question with the data you have.
Yeah, on the grand scheme of things, we don't have a lot of data to begin with.
Yeah.
Like the only thing I could joke about doing is dismantling the quantum phase converter and try and turn it into a phase system, but or like a shield / phaser system, but again, not a lot of data.
Yeah, it's a lot of experimental. It might work or it might be a terrible idea, and it's hard to, without giving it the rigors of the scientific method, it's hard to know how entirely viable it is. But the more data points you have, the easier that may be. You may find a solution between here and there.
But yeah, that's basically what I'll be doing, just going through as many solutions and data that I can in my ready room.
So you would have walked onto the bridge. You're done engineering. You're where you are. You're here.
Is that new scene?
Walk onto the bridge. New scene, yes. As Commander Thralic and Lieutenant Raloff step onto the bridge, as well as Ensign Drebin. Ensign Drebin basically brings you up to speed, your character up to speed as much as you know now. And the order currently is to scan the galactic barrier and get as much data as possible without getting closer to the barrier, because you're at the absolute limit of how, like, the station, thankfully, because your command crew told them that there's a certain line of no return that ships stop so they don't trigger the barrier. They're at that limit. So any closer, there's a chance that something's going to happen to your ship and to the people aboard. Thankfully, the Klingons know this as well. So they're not going to get any closer either. They're going to be doing their own research. But yeah, the current order is to scan this anomaly and try to hopefully glean new information, because you're going to be scanning it from the other side. Almost all research about the galactic barrier has been done from the inside out.
Right. To that end, sir, do you think it might be possible to augment our scanning parameters with those scanner logs from the inside of the barrier, so that at least we have some sort of a baseline?
Give me reason, science, difficulty 2, assisted by computers plus science to establish the advantage of pulling up all that data in a way that's easy to tell the computer to look through.
Yeah.
We would probably probe after the initial scan.
Yep. That's the thing I should add to you, Ven. Drebin's suggested plan of attack, though you're the hero character, you might have a better idea than he does. But his thought was to scan it from afar, like use the long, even though you're scanning at extreme range, do that first, see what you can get, and then try to send in probes, because scanning the barrier has always been an issue, and equipment does not survive the galactic barrier for long.
Right.
So he'd hate to throw probes at it and then waste time.
If we are planning on launching probes, let engineering know.
Yeah,
really.
If we have to poke it with a stick, we'll poke it with a stick. But let's do everything short of poking it with a stick.
Yeah.
I'm going to spend a momentum, focus in astrophysics, or sensor operations.
I'd take astrophysics because this is the pulling up the data stage.
Reason science. Okay. That's 4 hits. 5 hits, so that's 3 momentum.
Yep, so you now have established the advantage. You've collected all data, all up-to-date data from the United Federation of Planets and Starfleet research grants, and some Klingon ones, actually. You're able to pull in some of their data as well, because the Maymok's here, so they can tell you their data. It's like, oh, sure, we'll tell you what we know.
We had someone who got psychic powers from the galactic barrier. It was glorious.
Yeah, he killed everyone aboard.
It was something. It took a whole fleet of ships to stop him.
Oh, good data. Don't worry, we got the computer core. Oh, that's nice. Klingon data, batliths don't work. We threw a batlith at it. We didn't get it back. Maybe it eats batliths.
Okay, so let's actually try scan.
Yes, this is going to be reason plus science. Difficulty of if you're scanning it close, it'd be 0. If it was close, it'd be 0. If it was at medium, it'd be 1. If it's at long, it'd be 2. If it's at extreme, it'd be 3. If you're extreme plus 1, it's at 4. Reason science difficulty 4 is the base plus sensors and science. Difficulty is brought down by 1 because you have an advantage. Certain things you already know to scan for.
And guess what? Brought down by 1 again, testing a theory into practice.
That is true. Yep.
I'm gonna spend 2 momentum for a 4th die. Astrophysics or sensor operations?
Sensor operations at this point.
Yep. Here we go. Okay, that's at least 1 hit. Okay, get 1 momentum back.
So, as you're collecting the data, and Thralic takes up the bridge, takes command of the bridge, Ryloff takes up his tactical station, presumably. I have to step away from the mic briefly, but I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then my dumbass idea was to activate the myth-type shielding and use a repulsor from the deflector as like a drill or a plow and try that.
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
That sounds just technobabbly enough to work. Sure.
Yeah, except for the fact of no one has any data.
Well, they're gonna get a lot of data after we're done.
Well, I'm not sure if tractor beams work against energy. I know they work against mass.
Well, it's using it more like as a repulsor beam.
Right, but a repulsor beam is just a tractor beam that has its direction of force altered.
What?
I'm not that techno smart. I just thought thing that make go push.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're a Packlid. Got it.
Yes, a Packlet who could beat the
dare
shit out
you-
of you.
He
I
does
dare
keep
you
saying
say
red
that.
alarm. Pens does keep saying red alarm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he has the biggest hat.
I mean, another option is we could grab an asteroid and use that as a field.
But no, because I even thought like if we converted the like the quantum phase converter from the torpedoes to the phaser array, maybe use that as like a form of like wide beam drill in front of us.
I can see that potentially. Like,
The-
it depends on how different energies interact with the barrier, though.
Yeah,
You know?
and of course, it's also going to depend on what we get back from these scans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's the
Input.
yeah.
Input.
It's one of those. I put forward the initial dumbass idea, but until we get scans and stuff, it's like fucking pissing in the wind.
I think the quantum phase inverter might be viable. All depends on, again, and if we can get anything to interact positively or negatively with the barrier.
Dude, I've not even let anyone see what the phase converter is.
The potential of also just using timed torpedo detonations to essentially create a path and move fast enough through it.
See, now that's a Klingon solution.
No, the Klingon solution would just keep firing endless amounts of torpedoes and don't worry about the timing. The
Yeah,
Federation version is we're worrying about the timing.
yeah, trying to create like ripples to go through.
Exactly. Explosions aren't
Stay in the-
unique to any faction. It's how
in the
you think
pocket.
about explosions.
Exactly.
Stay in the pocket. Stay in the pocket. Stay in the pocket.
It's about being precise or brutal.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not mutually exclusive.
We're gonna be brutally precise.
You can be. Or precision through brutality. You hit everything, you'll eventually hit the right place.
Precision through brutality sounds very Romulan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. I won't deny that.
Use
Yeah.
the fire rate to overcome lack of accuracy.
No, the Romulans have the biggest ships that anyone else has.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're overcompensating.
Sure, but
I don't know about that. You know,
I mean, to
I
be
think
fair,
it's more like Romulans have the longest, one of the longest existing current empires.
Yeah.
see, the problem is now, after he hit us with the station, there's not a lot out there that I'm too worried about.
What, this station?
Yeah, when he used like
Don't say that.
well, after he hit us with it did like what 28 points of damage on just a single hit. It's like there's nothing really else inside our galaxy on that level.
I mean, yes, but this is also a single station that attacked us once and stopped attacking us when we didn't shoot at it. So,
Yeah.
Like, it could have annihilated us if it wanted to.
I know that's what I mean. So after dealing with that, I'm not worried about Romulans, Klingons, or any of those idiots.
Ah, got it.
He's becoming jaded.
Coming?
Farter was already there.
I'm back. Data incoming. Boop. Oops, that was unnecessary information. Let's get rid of that. Thank you.
Yeah, kind of also in the situation now where if I can just like convert some milestones into spotlights, I might just get rid of the daring aspect and go fitness.
Mm.
Just let Thrallet do all the fighting.
There you go, cadet.
Dope. Everything except pay.
You have at least one free question because you're a science. You're the science role.
I think. Okay, with that last bit, that gives me the question I'm going to ask. How long would it take? I don't know. Do we know do we know the thickness of the galactic barrier?
Rough estimations based on the Enterprise's interaction with it.
Okay. Then I can figure out the amount of time it would take to travel through it later. Give me a second. There's some stuff I have to.
Oh yeah, I know. Don't do that. That never helps thinking.
I know, which is why I'm doing it.
What about shields?
What about shields?
It can penetrate most physical barriers. What about shields?
Shields are. I'll give that to you for free. That's something you would know. Shields are a way to protect yourself because it's a type of energy. Ship shields are meant to. I mean, they do prevent physical things, so like kinetic things hitting the ship, like asteroids, missiles, bullets, that sort of thing. But it's also primarily for shielding you from energy hazards. So radiation is a energy that would be shielded by it. So if your shields are up, you should be fine. It's that second part that makes it complicated.
Right. I think my question will be, what causes these gamma radiation bursts? Because it says they could occur, but
did I hear that right? Gamma ray burst?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And I don't think it's gonna turn us into the Hulk.
I mean, depends on your roles. No. If you're alive to buy the traits of superhero, no. Then we're just playing Infinity at that point. No. To answer that question, and it is going to be your free question.
Yeah.
It is a semi-random event that occurs within the barrier. It's a side effect of how it interacts with of how it exists and persists.
Yeah.
And it just radiates every so often. It's not just one big wall. It's just every so often there'll be a burst of gamma radiation, at which point it won't matter how much anti-rad you took that day, you're gonna notice it unless you're shielded.
Okay. Are there any questions that so what this is gonna be? This is gonna be this is an incredibly dense spatial hazard. it'll it'll make using anything regarding our shields, our engines, our sensors, maintaining structural integrity, far more difficult, aka all of those things go up by a difficulty of 5 and a complication of 5.
I bet.
Then there are gamma radiation bursts that might occur at various intervals, penetrating most physical barriers. Shields can stand up to them. Deflector shields should be able to disperse those radiation bursts rather harmlessly. But if they get through the shields, it'll penetrate our hull plating rather easily. That kind of radiation unravels DNA, irrevocably damages cells. Mechanically, 3 challenge dice, piercing 2, vicious 1. Additionally, while we are in the anomaly, there should be a fluctuation in our shields due to the spatial feedback approximately once every hour. If we're not properly prepared for it, our shields will completely fail.
Well, fun.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I've got one.
Go. What you got, Captain?
Can we get a more detailed scans of the makeup of the barrier?
You currently have those.
Yeah, that's what this is. It's a class 5 spatial hazard.
Is there a way to modulate our shields against it?
Yes.
That is a question you could spend toward. Yep.
Yeah, spend a momentum.
That was
Do
kind
it.
of what I was asking for, but poorly worded.
Do
I'm here for you.
Cheers.
that's what the XO is for.
Translating the commander's words.
I mean, sometimes.
I mean, that's what Penn did for me.
Caps lock doesn't need to be on. Thank you, computer. Thank you for trying to be helpful, but you weren't. So
This is the data.
Question: is the roll currently in the process of being resolved? Because I could roll my. If so, I might roll my.
it not being resolved yet. I'm simply telling you what the difficulty is. You may have further questions to spend on.
Okay, then I'm gonna roll my untapped potential then.
Yeah.
Might as well roll it now. Yeah.
Gah!
1
We
and
get
1.
1 and 1. Man, every time I roll this.
Hey, better than getting nothing. That sucks.
Yeah. Man, imagine if you'd been a veteran instead.
He's too young to be a veteran.
I'm saying,
He's a veteran of his middle school chess club.
Oh, I was wrong.
Yeah, no, he plays that. Specifically, he plays the 3-dimensional chess.
Yeah.
Structure of all things. Whoops. Why am I?
Yeah, just I say, who's that, buddy?
There we go.
I don't even have that person in my drop down.
Oh, hey, I forgot about that. Terrestrial thunderstorms can produce brief pulses of gamma rays. Just the lightning strike energizes the atoms so much that they shoot out gamma rays.
Yep.
So you could figure out a way to manipulate your shields in such a way to protect the ship. You're looking at a work track of 18, magnitude 4, difficulty 4. It's a daring science roll assisted by structure science because you're basically trying to figure out theoretical shielding methodologies for a infrequently encountered anomaly. There are a handful of ships in Federation history that have ever directly interacted with the galactic barrier.
That is that with the myth type shielding as well, or
myth type shielding you can try and hope it works. This role is to verify if that is a viable method or if there's a different method you're supposed to use. But you could just take your chances and hope it works.
Cool.
And the 5 attempts is basically each attempt is going to be a significant amount of testing and experimentation that's happening on the ship. And by the time 5 attempts have gone by, a day has gone by. So, at which point something's likely, the station's likely going to do something, or the Klingons are likely to do something.
Yeah.
Or you may wish to consider other options.
Yeah. I would like to assist with this.
Okay.
This is to figure out whether, how would do this, Alan.
How you would modulate the shields to protect the ship long enough to get through the barrier. Because the other part of this puzzle is that, of this method, is you don't need the shields to last forever. You just need them to last long enough that you survive getting through the barrier. Because once you're through it, you're through it.
Yolan would like to help with this if he can. He does have a degree in natural physics.
If you want him to assist, by all means.
Okay. Would my value of eager to explore help, or wait, would a mission directive apply?
Mission directive would apply.
Also, since we are being timed for this, can Yolan use rapid analysis talent? Science task attempted as part of a time challenge can use science. Can take 1 time interval instead of 2. The amount of time taken for any task is reduced to half.
So in essence,
So he'd have to be leading the role then.
That's what it sounds like to me too. I'm verifying.
Okay.
But I mean, I'd be okay with that because if that's what that is, I think that might be worth it. Although, I have a lot of stuff in my talent. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff in my talents for getting.
I think it'd be better. Yeah, I think it'd be better if you lead this because that's daring science. Yeah, he's not very daring.
So. Well, neither am I. I only have a 12.
We've noticed.
I at least have parental figure, so that can help if we get any complications.
Hi, Cabal.
Hello. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna spend my determination for mission directive. Spend our 2 remaining momentum for a 3rd die. I already have 2 hits. Research focus?
I'd say so, yeah.
Nice. Okay. Just making sure I got my everything set up properly. Oh, come on, ship, please. Yes. I'm gonna roll my.
You've got the assist as well.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Don't you have cautious science?
We've been this like 5 times. I don't.
It's just you're the type of person who gives off a cautious vibe.
Yeah, no, I know. It's just I don't have cautious.
Look, they haven't graduated yet. Give them a break.
Although, because Thrallick's assisting me, don't I get to reroll one?
No, I have the ability to reroll my own right now. As soon as I get an arc, I'm adding advisor, so I can let other people reroll as well.
Okay, well that's still 1 momentum. I'm gonna roll my untapped potential, see if I get any more. Okay. Take
One more.
another threat and another bonus.
Fantastic. I
yeah,
love
we
that.
And we get the
Elements
one.
every time.
We get the one bonus from Thralic.
Oh, that's
You
what I
need
was
to-
thinking of. Yeah.
Then you need to chant, "I'm not Varder. I'm not Varder. I'm not Varder," because you get a
Yeah.
challenge dice.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm rolling 6. Hey, that's pretty good.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 work.
There's no.
No, there's no resistance, so just
Yeah.
you've hit
Yeah.
a mag.
Just put that one float into more work, I guess.
Okay.
So that's 6.
And I'm going to claw back some of that work because you're dealing with a little understood anomaly, and there are lots of variables you need to account for. Your work is 0. Your magnitude is still the same, though.
Just
Yeah.
remember then, if you need to reach out, I can assist you in a different way.
Yeah, I think for now I'm okay. Cause now it's I hit the magnitude. It's back down. It's down to diff 3, I think.
Currently.
Okay. Testing a theory into practice. I get a 3rd die, and the difficulty goes down to 2.
Correct.
Yeah. I think that'll be my roll. Okay. All my assists, please. I just need 1. Okay.
I got your back, bro.
Oh.
Pat you on the shoulder. It's okay. You're dealing with lots of crazy science, and it's just gonna
And
be
one more.
Okay.
And one of
That'll be
those is the
frustrating.
bonus.
Oh, hold on. Awesome.
Yes, and sorry I stepped away briefly there, but I would be giving you the advantage of being Russian 1 here. So you get
So you're now giving vicious at this time, yeah.
Okay, and I also just got 2 bonus momentum.
Yep.
On my untapped potential. See, occasionally it works.
yeah.
as
Yeah, when it
advertised.
works big, it works big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's 2 whole bonus momentum.
Yeah.
Ooh!
And that's a lot of effects.
That's a
high risk, high reward.
That is 10 work so far.
For because I think we're how much bonus?
3
do we
bonus,
have?
right? 3.
3.
2 from you and 1 from me.
Yeah, just like pour it all into extra work.
Could you create an advantage for the next roll?
No.
Advantage on this project in total?
It's fine. Yeah. Uh-huh.
At least he's spending it here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the work zeroes out, because again, you're dealing with the galactic barrier, world famous. And difficulty goes up by 1 more.
Okay.
World
So,
famous. Actually.
so
sure.
it's still at difficulty 2 then?
Yep.
Okay. Fine by me. I still have 3 dice. There we go.
Nice. I've been rolling really well for having an 11 in this.
Yeah.
And one of those is a bonus.
6, 7.
Ouch.
And 1 more bonus.
And I'm guessing this is what, progression 1 again? For Vicious from Thralic?
Presume.
Yeah. Yes.
Hold on.
Itchy's weird.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna spend 1 to reroll 3.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
12.
You're
We
looking at
could
12 work.
spend that bonus momentum plus 5 and just finish the check. Just finish the work track.
Is that what you want to do, Cadet?
I kind of want to do that.
Okay then.
That's 18 work.
Which puts you to your 4th magnitude. So, after a considerable amount of time, about 3/5 of your day go by testing, more testing, going to the bridge, going to the holodeck, talking to the engineers, going back to the bridge, testing again and again. At one point, you fire off a probe just to make sure. Okay, do it again, and on and on and on and on until eventually, finally, you have established that the myth shield, psi shield, if modulated in a sort of rotating frequency to kind of match the fluctuations of the galactic barrier, that should buy you enough time to get through. It's not that because the problem becomes that you're basically having this massive energy anomaly pressing down on the ship from all sides, and that just drains the shield's batteries. By reinforcing it in that particular way, you're shielding the crew from the psionic effects, but you're also giving the shield just that little extra time to the point that you actually might damage your shields a little bit, but it will work long enough, and that's what you need, is it for to last long enough, and that gets you through the barrier. Doesn't necessarily get the Klingons might be able to do the same thing as you.
We know they have access to the same shielding.
Yep.
So hopefully.
It's a matter of how good their engineers at managing it. It's going to be the issue for them. There's not a whole lot you can do to help them with it, short of putting one of your people aboard to make sure it's done to your exact specifications.
Okay.
Because keep in mind that most of the engineering core of Klingons is like 9 out of 10 of them are laborers. Only like a very select few of them are officers that are engineer officers of the KDF. The rest are civilian laborers. So there's a lot of their methodology is drastically different from Starfleet standard. Doesn't mean they can't do it. They just have to do it differently.
Okay. I think when he's going through it.
I hate to cut you off there, but we're gonna end the scene there as we cut back to the station.
Oh, well, there goes the one momentum we had.
Whoops. Computer, follow along. There we go. And we go over. Let's check on Lieutenant Caval.
Be right back.
Why is Efrix's son unconscious again?
Still, not again. Still.
Yep. Because last we left off with Caval, you had come aboard the station to try to examine Zeft due to his unique medical issues.
Yep.
And they're like, okay, well, we can plug him into our system and we can try to help. So, far as you're concerned, you have been briefed because you're our senior officer. They did do the dimensional jump. They jumped, and instead of getting all the way to Narendra Station, the station stopped short of the galactic barrier, and that's kind of the problem that the ship's worrying about right now, is trying to figure out how they're going to get through that barrier through conventional means. All medical was told was prepare for the possibility that we're going to be running through a gamma radiation filled sonic inducing anomaly, and your representative, Specialist Daiba, basically said the best we can do really is have sedatives ready, because if someone's aspirating is artificially being inflated, there's not anything medically you can do other than make them unconscious.
Case in point.
Yeah. It's like that's our solution to this problem. Is it a solution?
Great.
No, but you know.
So as long as we don't all have to be unconscious and the pilot doesn't have to be unconscious, we might be okay.
Also, an update. You're told that the ship is working on a way to shield. Apparently, the station has a way that it's going to be able to shield itself somehow. But now the Achilles is trying to figure out, well, how do we shield ourselves from it and the Klingons to get us through the barrier? Because right now you're only like 2 days away. You know, back to
Okay.
Narendra Station. But the problem is there's a galactic barrier in the way, so they have to figure out how to get through that. So during that time, you have your patient with you on this highly advanced space station starship.
Okay.
As your patient is guided to one of their medical beds, you notice that various holographic images appear over him. And so instead of displaying it on like a flat panel on a wall to read, they basically have they have holographics basically hover over problem areas and they give readouts. And they actually format
Got like
it.
an operation overlay.
Yeah. They actually give it to you in whatever format you feel more comfortable with. So if your character is more comfortable with the Elkar's Federation format, they would do it that way. If your character is more comfortable with the Romulan standard, then they would display it that way. They display it in a way that they feel that your character seems to respond easiest to.
I think it's likely gonna be. I mean, she's adaptable, so she may not show an overall preference, but it's probably gonna be, if there is one, it's probably gonna be the Federation one because she didn't have a lot of tech to work with when she was a medic, a field medic for the Romulan Empire. So
Okay, so
there
that's
is
what you see.
there is probably a part of her that is like itching just to like explore their medical tech a little more because she does have medical technology as a focus. There's definitely an interest there, but she's busy. she's gotta deal with her patient first.
You notice that the station, for the most part, will stay in the Elkar's format, but every so often there'll be bits or pieces that nothing that's mission critical, but like the surface level stuff, they purposely let it be in their format, which is it's hard to explain, but suffice to say that it's a very intuitive, a highly intuitive OS system where you kind of you make certain hand gestures or you can draw out a theorem and then it's kind of the computer starts completing it with you because it's an artificial intelligence. But it doesn't do anything like that at the mission critical stuff because that's a medical science level that's just you'd be spending with. But like little stuff, like little things, it's willing to kind of show you how they would do things. Just because the station's matching your thoughts, it's matching how you feel most comfortable, and it's like, well, since you're curious. So yeah, that seems to be there. You get the feeling that an insight medicine or reason medicine role, difficulty 2, is a role you can take to kind of have an insight into how this species does medicine or how the medical technology works.
You said either reason or insight?
Yep.
Medical technology as a focus?
I don't see how that applies here. No. Yeah, you can use that.
Yeah, take a threat.
Sure. One momentum generated. You're able to figure out that there is there's a lot of technology that at least the space station has a space-time baseline that you understand. You've heard of hyper advanced or highly advanced civilizations, and computing is computing is computing. Biology is biology is biology. How you approach it may change, how you theorize it, but in the end, I have a heart, you have a heart, or you may have two hearts, but certain constants that are pretty standard. What makes them different is that they, as said before, but you now know it a little more, is that there is a awareness of the subspace layers of biology and the hyperspace layers of biology that they are accounting for. And they don't, and it seems they're not bothering to show those to you because that's a level of medical science that is hard to understand. Like the subspace stuff you'll understand, but it's very niche. Very unique
Yeah.
injuries happen from that. But at hyperspace
Beyond
level,
what I'm needing to treat theft.
yeah, that's the only bits they're showing you. But you can see that the system has no where the Achilles would struggle to scan at the hyperspace level or at the subspace level medically. This station has zero problem with it. They can sense
That's
it just
so weird.
And according to the database, you have another role to figure out what's wrong with your patient.
Wow, really?
It is going to be reason plus medicine. Difficulty, since they're helping you. Difficulty of 2. The station is assisting you. Sensors plus medicine. Plus 1.
Will this qualify as medical technology as well?
I would take it because you brought him here to use their special sensors to figure out what's wrong.
Because we're not in treatment yet, so.
No, you're just at the diagnosis stage.
Diff 2.
Just.
Yeah, take a threat.
Sure.
So this kid can now taste hyperspace. What is
Yeah.
up with that?
Yeah.
2 momentum generated. It would seem that Cadet Zeft, not only is his psilocybin levels so high enough that he would be qualified as someone who has an SP rating of at least 100. So he is theoretically an empath, telepath, what have you.
Has it gone down at all from the initial reading? Because it was showing beyond. Okay.
So the beyond, which the computer corrects the Achilles reading. It's at his SP rating is 100. The overread is the computer misunderstanding a concept that the station understands, that he is perceiving. Beyond that 100, there is a certain awareness of hyperspace, an awareness of existence beyond yourself. The problem is that what's happening to the patient is that he does not have an appropriate sensing method, and that's just his brain just is overloading and shutting off.
Yeah.
So the computer suggests a cybernetic implant to open up that sensory receptacle, or a neutralizing treatment that will blind him to that particular sense, and then his brain will go back to its normal state. Well, its previous state. It doesn't say normal state. Its previous state. But they seem to have there's another measurement that they have of Somnikara is a measurement of awareness of hyperspace to them. Got it. Which, whatever that's named after, but you now know that's what the overflow is. That's what's causing that error. Because the Starfleet doesn't the only other person they've ever run into that runs into hyperspace, interact with hyperspace for any length of time was Captain Sisko. That's the only guy they've ever had that was aware of hyperspace. Because he interacted with the prophets and other things about his unique situation. Because yeah. So
because Cisco is Cisco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I take that back. There was
Damn
actually one other patient who had that as well. So there's like less than a handful of situations where someone was aware of hyperspace. You now have the third patient.
Yeah,
Good
you
for
can count
you.
it on one hand.
Although, for momentum, I can suggest a third option that you would know now that they told you that.
I mean, okay.
You
Because
would
right now I
know
think I know what the ethical option is.
the third option is he may naturally develop one on his own. That's happened to people
Mhm.
like Cisco and others, where it's like if you just he may be unconscious and basically bedridden for a while, but eventually
Yeah, it just
you'll
he
either
needs
lose
to
it or
like
gain it.
yeah, give him a chance to adapt. That's kind of what I thought too.
Yeah, but they don't. For their computer, it doesn't even enter their mind. To them, it's the patient is cannot see. We will give them artificial eyes if that's required. Oh, that
Mhm.
is your species doesn't have eyes. Oh, well, we could we can cut off the bits that let them see color and sight and stuff if you want. Like that's
Yeah.
the computer solution, because to them it's just inconceivable that someone couldn't perceive in hyperspace.
Yeah.
But that is what you have with your patient on the table. And the computer just sits there, waits for your commands. It just gives you the readouts.
And there's no way that I can see to suppress it long enough to like discuss options with the patient, correct?
For 2 momentum, the computer may have a cocktail that could give you a way to talk to them. You get a feeling that they'd be able to connect you with the patient.
Because I have a feeling I know what Zeph would choose. um, but I know what the ethical option without discussing it with him would be. Technically, option 3 would be the ethical option, I think, but unless he starts to show signs of deterioration. Man, you want me to use all my? I know you want me to use all my momentum.
Everything has a price.
All the momentum. Use all of it.
Yeah, I wanna talk to Zap about it.
Okay.
Talk.
You see a bunch of holograms start appearing around his head, and then you see a swarm of pink nanites start crawling all over his head and face.
I feel like this was the wrong choice.
And then you feel a crawling sensation coming up your left arm. You look down and you see, hey, look, there's some coming up and crawling up to your head.
Oh, I don't like it.
Do you let this progress, or do you tell them to stop? Because they don't tell you what they're doing. You say, I want to do this. And like, oh, okay. And then they start deploying the nanites.
Oh, I want to know so bad.
If they were going to kill us, they would have done it already.
I was gonna say, like, we already let them fix our ship.
Yeah, I mean, and our people.
Yeah, it's a little different, just like letting them.
You could ask what they're doing.
Yeah. I think I would ask for like a medical explanation as it's happening, but I would be okay with allowing it as long as they could explain it.
Presence medicine difficulty 2.
Oh,
because you're trying to explain to them why it matters. Because to them, they're like, oh, this is the way to do it. It's like, well, hold on. Explain to me in like I'm a 6-year-old how this works.
Difficulty what?
2.
I
know you're great with presence rules.
Mm-hmm.
Bedside manner for Koval is really high.
Yeah. It's not why I haven't, like, so far chosen for my patients to just be unconscious. The
Dr. House method. If you're unconscious, you can't complain.
Two options here.
Mhm.
One of them might be worse than the other: composure or paranoia.
Love it.
I would take composure here.
Okay. I mean, this definitely, if anything qualifies as a bold roll, it's letting this shit happen. So take the threat.
Sure.
Do I want to fish?
Up to you.
Maybe not with a 13.
Pardon me, one second. I went down the wrong pipe. So, you were told the pink nanite swarm will be used to connect yourself and the patient and sync up your neural connections in such a way that you'll be able to communicate with each other without synchronizing your consciousnesses and keeping you as distinct individuals and communicating through the computer system rather than through audio-visual communications.
Dope. Okay.
Are we troning right now?
Yep.
Dual drift.
Yeah.
Pilot the Jaeger.
We're gonna pilot a Jaeger. As long as we don't chase the rabbit, we'll be okay.
Do I have that?
The rabbit? I hope not.
Yeah. Like, let's. They both have plenty of trauma to choose from, but let's not. All I can think of is Zeph's gonna be like, Carter's gonna be so proud of me. And my mother's gonna kill me.
You find yourself in a misty plain where a few trees burn softly like candles. And Zeph just kind of is looking around a little like, ooh, like he's just, wow, look at all this. He doesn't realize you're there right now.
Kind of take it in.
In each flickering of the light, you could see a memory of Zeph's.
That's
And
really.
then in another flicker, you could see a dream or an aspiration he has. In the mist, you could see his fears and his despairing moments.
That's super cool. Stay on topic, Cobalt. Hello, cadet.
Whoa! He turns out. Hi!
A core memory.
Isn't this interesting, Doctor? What a neat dream. Don't usually dream about you, though. Neat.
That's reassuring, at least.
Good.
This is good spirits.
Yep.
It's because the patient doesn't realize what's happening to him.
I don't. Kval is not known for her bedside manner or her knowledge of psychology. Am I gonna break his brain if I tell him this isn't a dream?
Insight medicine difficulty 3. This would be a lower difficulty if you were from a psionic species, but you were not.
Mm.
Romulans don't interact with us. Well, they do, but not.
I
quite
was gonna
like this.
say they can, but Kovala's not. Like, no.
You weren't part of that division of medicine.
Nor did I pursue it once I went into Starfleet.
Special interrogation methodology. Sorry,
Nope,
enhanced interrogation methodology. My bad.
definitely value of do no harm even if ordered comes in there, I think. Take a threat.
Sure.
Composure?
I'll have to say no.
Long shot because it's a different kind of pain. Pain management.
At increased complication. I see where you're going.
Oh man, it's just not a very good roll. Okay, that's fine. Ooh, dang it.
You are uncertain to the cause, to the possible cause that revealing the truth will do to the patient.
Yeah, he's fine. He's a resilient kid. Well, this may not be a physical plane of existence. I don't believe it's a dream, Cadet.
Oh, so it's like a holodeck. A holodeck dream?
Not. I would say that's not an incorrect analogy for what's happening.
Ooh, look at that! It's like it's the first time I went to the station. Well, that was a weird time. Ooh.
I wouldn't. Just like certain things in a holodeck can be dangerous, we don't fully understand the nature of this place, so I would be careful.
Oh, I'm being careful, Doctor. You worry too much.
He was not, in fact, being careful.
How did you know?
Kaval mutters something about engineers not knowing what the word careful means. Cadet, I need to discuss something with you. If you could come here, please.
Huh? Yeah, sure. Oh, gosh. Getting a bit tired. Go on. I'm listening, Doctor.
Is that normal?
He's falling asleep in a dream? You tell me, Doctor.
No. If you fall asleep in the dream, you die in real life. Wait. Oh God, I don't know how to explain this. Dum-dum human person that doesn't understand what's going on. So, like a holodeck with I guess in need of some fine-tuning to create a better experience. This is a level of
psionic awakening that you experienced due to an anomaly.
I'm a psychic? Cool. I met a bunch of psychics. Most of them are pretty nice. Kind of weird, though.
Hey.
From across the universe.
Uh,
For some reason, I feel like I'm being chastised from a distance. I'm not sure why.
Farther in the distance, someone's talking shit.
You feel it in his bones.
Exactly.
You said the thing.
It is currently making it difficult for you to connect with or function with your physical body. There are options to treat this, but I wanted to discuss them with you.
Okay.
And she'll kind of lay out the 3 options as best she can in layman's terms.
You lost me, Doctor.
So, ultimately, we can allow you to continue sleeping and see if perhaps you develop a adaptation to this on your own.
That
It
sounds a
could
bit
take
boring.
time, and we might still have to ultimately operate to disconnect you should things go poorly with that option. We can simply remove the extrasensory
Ugh.
nature that is allowing you to connect here,
Uh,
or the cause of the anomaly. And she begins to explain about the AI supercomputer.
I'm connected to a computer. Give me presence, medicine, difficulty 2. Zept is very easily distracted, and this place isn't really helping matters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she realized her mistake when she started talking about the station.
He is like a puppy.
Correct. She does not know his mother well enough to snap him out of it. Let's
Slap.
see.
That's actually
No.
a terrible thing to do. That is
Don't
not
do
a
that. No.
Percussive medicine is not usually I mean, sometimes it works in like CPR, but that's different.
Listen, he's plugged into a computer. He's sure to like a computer.
Yeah.
Don't hit a computer either.
Have we tried turning him off and back on again?
I mean,
that is not an option. I'm not recommending it.
I mean, it is an option.
it's just one that will end your career, is all.
Yeah. Use the presence.
Exactly how many bricks would Efrix throw if we did that to her son?
Depends on if she found out.
Wouldn't be a brick, just be one hypospray.
Yep, I was gonna say. We know Mirror Efrix. She's a lot craftier than you might think. Okay. Paranoia? For time management reasons? Stay on topic.
I will take it at increased complication. It does work, but it might it might make the patient paranoid as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair. Probably not composure, because that's me being composed.
Composure would help. You being composed would help him kind of chill out a bit. But yeah, right now Zept is acting like an NPC.
Oh, okay. So if you wanted to count, you could.
Okay. Did I already give you one for bold?
You haven't yet, but you can.
Yeah. After that last roll I made. Oh, no. What was the difficulty? 3?
Yeah.
That's a spicy meatball.
Well, I'm gonna re-roll 1, and then I'm gonna maybe spend a determination.
You might want to spend your determination first so you
yeah.
can save the smaller reroll there.
That's generally the better play. And you save the small reroll.
Well,
You
but
can
it goes
apply it,
away,
but-
doesn't it?
No, you can determination reroll, saving your bold reroll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My job comes first?
I follow. Yeah.
Okay.
You are trying to discuss the options with the patient and keep them focused. It's like, no, this is very important. I kind of need
Well,
you
that's
to
better.
be okay with this. Yep.
Yeah.
Are
Then
gonna
you can fish.
Do
I
it.
could.
Do it. Good. Always the right decision.
Whenever I encourage you to do it, it's like always a success too.
Ah, dang it. I don't think I've ever, with this new character, rolled a veteran and gotten it back.
You haven't joined the cult of Varder, so it's,
No.
You're not one of the people chanting "I am barter" before rolling it.
So what you're saying, Doctor, is that I can either have a surgery done and I lose the sight of the star people, or they give me some sort of cool implant that lets me see it better, or we just kind of let it happen on its own and it'll either happen or it won't.
More or less.
More or less. Okay. I mean, I kind of like the idea of being able to see above space. That seems really cool. But, I mean, if there's anything I learned from Mom, what do you think is best? You're the doctor. And what do you think is the better move? So you made the roll, so you can now safely advise Zeft, and Zeft is kind of willing to follow your advice. You now know what he prefers, but he's willing to follow your medical opinion because he trusts it. And narratively, we know he has a good reason to trust qualified doctors.
Yeah. So medically, my only concern about allowing you your preference is that there are very few people within the Federation that could help you if something went wrong after we leave.
But isn't that why we're out here? To seek out new things? Besides, nothing is beyond repair anyway. If it breaks, I'll just figure out how to fix it. Or someone on the engineering team will anyway.
That makes
Dibs.
a good point.
He does make a good point.
This now counts. This does count as an activation if you want to roll with him now. You now can control him from a PC point of view. But for now, he's not costing you anything yet.
Yeah, I have a question. Man, I've been asking so many ethics questions. Does this qualify as him being of sound mind to make a decision?
For momentum, I'll answer that.
Yeah.
Although the patient seems excitable, that is not unusual for the patient. The patient seems to understand that there are risks involved.
Okay.
And you know from his background that he, with the medicine of 2, and you're the chief medical officer, you know that he may not be a doctor, but he now finally gets what you're telling him. He's just not getting the high level medicine that you were trying to explain to him, like, oh, through transcendental interplexes along your medulla. And he's like, what? Like, sorry, I have to explain this to you because you only know first aid. So here's what we're doing. Oh, okay, I get it now. So the patient's informed, but now it's the patient has deferred to you as to what he thinks is what you think is
I
the
just
best
wanted
option.
to make sure because, like, I know it's Star Trek, so like altered mind states is like a thing. There's a precedent for that. I just wanted to make sure.
Yep. In this case,
Um,
he's not. He's incredibly excited, but he's not being mentally coerced or dazzled in any way. He is.
Okay.
If you tried to wake him with like a stem and try to talk to him, he'd be in altered state. But because he's in this construct,
State.
he
Okay.
can talk to you without being
Cool.
distracted by hyperspace.
Cool. You do make a good point, Cadet. And I've gotta say, the tech on this station is really cool.
Isn't it?
From our point of view, though lots from this existing consciousness, I don't see a reason not to move forward if that is what you desire to do.
All right. Do I need to do anything special, or do I just sit back and wait? Or...
I don't believe so. I believe they'll let you know if there's anything that you need to do. They have better access to this form of communication than I do, I believe.
You see a holographic display appear in between the two of you, and it shows. Although it shows an Elkar's display, it is confusing because that's not how Elkar's has worked for decades. They use screens now for reasons. But it shows something, and it says the procedure can be performed whenever you feel you're ready. And from the readout, it shows that they would disconnect this connection when they do the implant, because otherwise they might accidentally do it to you. Which
I was going to say that's probably for the best. Plus, I want to supervise his human side vitals, or his denobulin vitals. Yeah. Okay. If you feel that we've had a discussion and you've come to a decision, this is what you want to do?
Yeah, let's do it. Time to become a hyper psychic or something.
Efrix doesn't smile very often, but she smiles a little bit.
I can feel my mom smiling somewhere.
Or sorry, not Efrix. Efrix smiles all the time. She never does it.
I was gonna say.
Kaval smiles a little bit. All right, let's do it.
The construct fades away, and an operation of incredible complexity goes on. New scene.
You're welcome for the threat.
Appreciate it. This means now that you can take the talent hyperspace implant or the trait hyperspace implant for Zeft.
Okay.
That also gives him access to some of the talents that require psychic ability. This qualifies for that, just in a different way, among other things, but we'll explore those later. With that, though...
Hoping not to kill my other character's child.
Cadet Ven, I believe you have an idea to present, and I'll be right back. I have to step away from the mic again.
And then they sat in silence.
And I'm back.
Welcome back.
So,
I thought you were the GM. Now you're back?
Arlen dies.
Good.
Yes. So the bridge has Cadet Ven and Yolan and Strayer and Mark.
Oh god damn it! I was muted the whole time I went through that explanation. Yeah.
Try again with feeling this time.
God damn it. I did this whole technobabble speech. God damn.
Hope you remembered it.
Play
I
the
do.
world's smallest violin.
I do. Sir, I think I've got something. I think I might have a solution. We've run through pretty much all the permutations, done as much practical testing as we reasonably can, and I think I have it. We're going to have to run the shield through effectively a feedback sequence with our external sensors to run the shields through a set of predetermined frequencies depending on the feedback from the galactic barrier. We're looking at a frequency of 32.71 kilohertz, frequency of 28.6 megahertz, and a frequency of 137.4 gigahertz. So it's going to have to shift between various orders of magnitude in order to pass us through safely.
And that whizzing noise is that technobabble going right over the commander's head.
Yep. Sure is, honestly. Like, they're all understood. Okay. So we'll have to have a large amount of modulations to the shields. Is that what you're saying, Cadet?
Yes. In addition, from my reading, we're going to need to institute this on a specific shield preset known as the myth shielding.
Yes, I'm familiar.
Yeah, we're gonna have to set that up and then run this custom shield algorithm on top of it.
Right. All right, so the captain's ideas sound. He'll be happy to hear that.
Yeah, there were just a couple extra steps.
Very well. Coordinate with engineering and security to set up any necessary, anything necessary for the implementation.
Command then walks over past Draven and says, "Sir, I'm gonna head down to engineering and get them these specifications and coordinate with science down there."
Cadet, you do know we have a engineer station just over there with an auxiliary system. You can talk to them from up here unless you feel an in-person touch is required.
Yeah, I think it might be prudent to work the systems from down there. There are going to need to be some real on-the-fly adjustments to the shield modulations, and heck, picoseconds could matter.
Cadet, if you're able to adjust for picoseconds by being there in person, I invite you to continue.
Yeah.
How much caffeine would it take for you to be able to respond in picoseconds?
By that point, his heart would stop. And Darwin turns around and keeps typing.
More for him, it's more like the ship's systems could probably respond quicker down there than from up here. But
Durbin would just give you a hard time just to mess with the cadet.
of course.
He's like, oh, let's see if you actually are willing to stand your ground on this. Let's see if I can shake you on it. No? Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure.
So Ven is going to go down to engineering, hand over the pad to Arlen, and say, "This is what we."
Oh, we're gonna cut to that scene in a moment when we go down engineering.
Oh, there's stuff going down there. Oh, awesome.
Cool.
Thrall
Did I ever get that?
off.
Yeah, I was just about to ask.
Oh, also, Commander, as said, I'll update you on this as well. Give this over to the Klingon ship. From my understanding, they might be able to institute this. I can't guarantee its efficacy, though.
It's operator dependent.
Yeah.
Turns out with the Klingons involved, there's a high user error percentage.
I'll make sure the information gets forwarded over to the Klingons as well, Cadet.
A message has been sent, Commander, but we have yet to receive a reply, which is not surprising given the relative distance and lack of any relays between here and there.
Understood. Estimated time before Narendra Station will pick up our message?
Aha. That is reason plus your mum. No, give me a second. I forgot.
It's not a stat I have.
I mean, that's on you, not writing it on your sheet. So. Be prepared for anything.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
Really
forgot.
just the sarcasm stat. For me, that's full. It's got a 12 in that.
My brain is telling me that it is this plus this. Okay.
I'm gonna take a focus in sarcasm.
Why does it always apply? Oh, the GM's Canadian. Reason plus engineering. Difficulty 2. Assisted by computers plus engineering. To discern how long it would take.
Reason.
Actually, I'll knock it down to diff 1 because it is a place you would hail on a regular basis. So you have a pretty good idea about it's a little easier to figure out how long it would take to talk to Narendra Station and back again.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Investigative techniques focus. Given we've been getting data from the scans and such regarding the biggest obstacle that we know of, that barrier.
That's fair, yeah.
Basically pulling Ven's data as he's doing things, not telling him, but doesn't affect him, it's just someone else reading it. Probably doesn't affect him, we'll find out. I can complicate things. It's too late to fuck with him anyway. Probably. We hope. I passed. Wow.
I've got the ship.
Like an assist from... No.
Yeah, we got it.
You realize that you would, given that subspace transmissions effectively move at warp 9.9 repeating, because it's just data packets.
Mm-hmm.
It should take about just under an hour for it to get to them, and then about an hour to send back. It has been well over 2 hours since your transmission. Since your last transmission.
The registration's dead.
Mm-hmm. So, even allowing for the station's personnel and command to receive and decipher the message, by decipher any interference that might have occurred to it, assuming it wasn't totally lost, We should have received a reply by now. It would make
Should.
sense that there's some interference from the barrier itself, but I can't confirm that.
Welcome to the two generals problem.
The what?
The two generals problem. It's a thing where you're constantly sending messages back and forth
Oh.
to confirm. Oh, did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it. And because of the way the message sending back and forth goes, you can never.
Yeah.
There's no end point.
Yeah.
The best way to tell would be to get there, and that somewhat defeats the purpose.
Right. Well, we can only hope they've received our message, and until then, we continue with our efforts here.
Understood, Commander. Should I begin efforts on modulations for the shielding system?
Yes, proceed.
And with any sort of luck, something that is convertible to the Klingon system might show up. Otherwise, I will go over there and assist them should they need it. With your permission.
Of course, Lieutenant.
Control plus security difficulty 3, complication range 2, assisted by structure plus engineering to establish the shielding as proposed by Cadet Ven.
Well, time to play with tactical systems. I have that. It is not to detect hidden danger or enemies, unless that's in this for some reason, in which case I'm highly concerned.
You know what? You're paranoid. Sure. Complications 3.
Does that mean constantly watching lowers the difficulty?
Hilariously, yes. Because you're perceiving a danger. It's not real, but your character doesn't know that.
That's hilarious. Okay. I'll give you a threat, sure.
There we go.
There we go. And we made a momentum off it now. Oh, god damn it.
Thank you, Chip.
That was just a flat 22. That wasn't even the complication increase. The ship was going to do that regardless.
So I'll spend a 1 and 1 more just to squash.
And we made an extra one. Oh, you want to keep one anyway for cautious people? Yeah.
Down in engineering.
No, see.
Y'all.
Never mind.
All right.
Again, you
Alright,
find
what
Lieutenant Orlin.
What console's getting the wrench this time?
Meanwhile, the Legion of Doom.
Shields.
That's what I was afraid of.
Yeah, we're gonna have to tie the shield systems into some of the for some of the near sensor arrays for some near instantaneous feedback of shield frequency modulation at here, and he hands you the pad.
So, are the frequency modulations inside a rotating period, or do they have to be reactive?
What was the first one?
Are they on a constantly rotating? Are the frequencies on a constantly rotating period or reactive?
Yeah, reactive. That's why we have to tie the console into the close range sensor system.
And I just point to an officer or at a console. Benson, and what's the yellow alert?
Benson?
Benson.
Were you saying a name, or were you saying ensign with a B in front of it?
Yes.
Yes, Ensign Benson. He gets
shields have been activated, Lieutenant. Seems the security station brought up the shields, and we pulled away from the station.
Arlane and Bridge.
Bridge here. That was me for a solid 20 seconds.
Yeah. He didn't say into security, so I didn't answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I just actually Bridge. What's do we know why we have the shields up? Something going on up there?
What is happening up here aside from
I'm modulating the shields.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
modulate the shields, you have to turn them on. When you turn on
Yeah.
shields, standard procedures, you'll alert across all hands.
And I don't know that, so I'm asking what the heck's
Yeah.
going on.
we've begun shield modulations, Lieutenant?
Okay. Little heads up next time. Would be nice before everyone snaps to attention.
Arlen, I'll let you walk that back. Insight command difficulty of
about to-
1.
I was about to just
Hey, superior officer. Yeah.
No, there's something else there.
No.
And something else.
no.
Starfleet protocols.
Confusing yellow and red alert.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
There's two halves to that. Someone did point that out. The heads up is the lights changing colors. That is the ship's designation. The other half of it is that Cadet Ven's plan. He told you that they were going to be modulating shields. Like part of his plan requires modulation of the shields, which would trigger the yellow alert automatically. So
Okay,
you
I'm just gonna walk all that back.
So you kind of already knew that this was going to happen.
I was gonna do this. Okay, I'm
And
just
the
gonna-
heads up was Ven. Ven personally
Ven.
showing up or calling you. You might have had more heads up if Ven called you before he came down, but it's not a violation of procedure. It's just
No, it isn't. All right, I'm gonna walk all that
Did you
back and
receive our
just.
gopher?
I'm gonna walk all that back and just be slightly annoyed that we're going ahead with this. Like, okay, I guess we're doing this live. All right, so first things first, we need to increase the reaction speed of the shield and tie that into the computer systems.
Yes, sir.
Then do you have a program set up to switch the shields based on sensor input?
Yes. Well, so first things first. Forgot about this. It should be in there. There's actually a preset shield modulation framework known. I think it's the Myth Shield. What's it? What is it called? The shield. The Myth Shield modulation. Is that it?
Myth type shielding.
The Myth type shielding framework. We have to institute that first. That's easy enough to do, I think. But then we have to run this, he hands the pad to you, this shield modulation algorithm on top of it.
And you see, based on what security teams have already done, the baseline, like the normal size shield that the Myth type shield requires, but Ven's plan requires an extra layer that makes it modulate in a semi-random frequency tied in with the sensors. So it's going to observe the pressures of the galactic barrier as you're passing through it and then quickly try to modulate to match it on the fly, which is incredibly intensive on resources, but as long as you don't have to do it for longer than an hour or two, you should be fine.
So we're making the shields more reactive and attuned, and especially to whatever BS the galactic barrier is going to throw at us. So we need the sensors to react quickly and go into the computer program and tell the shields what the heck to do.
Yeah.
Am I understanding this? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, since this is so important, so this is just to set up that plan.
Yep, you're setting up.
Sure.
You're setting up the engineering side of it. Security's done
Okay.
there, but they've done the modulation to get the shields going the way they're supposed to. Now it's the other half where you need to make the ship kind of modulate every other second on the fly based on live sensor data, because that's not hard
All
at
right.
all.
Take a threat focus in either tinkering or technical insight.
I'll take tinkering on this actually.
All right. Bold. Structure engine. Good ship.
Hang on. Either astrophysics, sensor operations, reverse engineering.
Sensor operations I'd take, given what you're trying to do.
Okie doke. Well, no help, no hurt.
And considering the risk of this situation, Arlen the captain.
And we cut to the ready room.
New scene.
Y'all.
For that one momentum.
GM really hates that one momentum.
I must punish it.
You will never have it.
Well, it always hides behind the second momentum when there's any more. So
So you see Amber Alert lights go on. You hear the all hands yellow alert, which is semi-automated, and then you get called up from engineering before you have a chance to do anything.
Yes, this is the captain.
Arlen, in here, we are getting ready to set up the shield old modulations that are going to be tied into the sensors to react quickly to the galactic barrier as we're going through it. Instead of just passively armoring it, we're going to be a kung fu fighting the galactic barrier and parrying its blows.
Just trying to decide how Penn wants to respond to that. Can I speak to a different engineer, please?
I suppose. Oh, but I'm the chief. I know everything is down here. Satal, can you take this call? The captain, and he needs some explanations.
Sure. Ensign Satal here. How can I help you, Captain?
Can you translate what Arlen said like a normal person, please?
Well, it's a running modulation of a shield. Give me insight engineering difficulty 2. He explains it, but he explains it in a bit technobabbly, which makes perfect sense to an engineer. May not make so much sense to you.
Would you allow mental prowess?
Yes. Well, the thing they're doing is pretty complicated.
Would you allow tried and tested?
I'm thinking. I'd say yeah. This is a semi-standard thing for Starfleet to pull off stunts like this.
Okay, if that's the case, I'll just give you a threat for a third die.
Sure.
And we're getting 2.
So Satal throws a bit of engineering lingo at you. It takes you a second to think it out, but eventually you're able to ferret out what they're trying to do and the fact that they've done it so far. And you now understand why there's a yellow alert. That's because security turned on the shield and modulated it. So of course that happened. And then they modulated it further. They've linked the computer and the sensors into a live feed. So, oh, okay, now you get it.
Yeah, now that he's
And that's
explained
why
it like an engineer.
Yeah. Well, Arlen seemed to try to explain it in the way engineers talk to non-engineers and try to use metaphors to try to help you understand. It didn't translate very well, so
Well,
it probably sounds way better in Boolean.
yeah. Thank you, Ensign. Can you put the lieutenant back on now, please?
Satal looks at Arlen and shrugs because you're both on comm badges. So
I shrug and I take the call back.
Yeah. Next time, maybe don't try to speak to me like an idiot. I do understand how technology works.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah. So you've done the shield modulations and you've got the reactive sensors working.
About the reactive sensors, I was going to see if I could improve the reaction time of the sensors, because if we're off by milliseconds, we're all fried. And
actually,
I want to if we're off by picoseconds, we're all fried, and I want to give them every advantage possible. But that might involve doing some unorthodox engineering down here.
Are you trying to redline? This is the GM asking. Are you trying to redline the structure?
Yes.
Okay. No, don't shush me. I need to know that.
Yes, I'm trying to redline the structure, but I'm trying not to scare the captain by saying that.
Why would you scare the captain?
Because he's short and tall things scare him? I don't know.
I would allow, if you can give me a detailed report of how you're going to do that, and it's going to be fully monitored at all times whilst we're going through the barrier, I would consider it.
I'll definitely fully monitor it. I'll get a report to you, in the next hour.
Understood?
Lieutenant, says Satal, maybe we don't need to worry about the shield so much as we do need to worry about the warp engine staying stable. Because we have the shields going now, but now we need to, if I understand half of what the cadet's saying...
I was thinking the shields aren't the issue either. It's the reaction and time. So maybe speeding up the sensor or processing.
As you will, sir. So you're going to redline the sensors? The GM asks you?
Yes, okay. As redline the sensors or the computers, whichever would help bridge the gap between seeing the thing and reacting to the thing.
For a momentum, I can answer that. Otherwise, you'll have to pick on your own.
One momentum.
Sensors are what matter more. If you can see it faster, then the computer can process it fine. It's a matter of seeing the problem before you run into it, so the computer can calculate.
Okay, so I want to increase sensor resolution and processing.
Okay. So you are attempting a daring engineering roll. What bonus momentum are you selecting?
2 seems to be a good round number. We can get extra information with that and an advantage.
Difficulty 2, daring engineering.
Can I use my tinkering focus?
I'd say so.
All right. I'm going to spend a determination, and I have the Cochrane Medal of Excellence on my tinkering focus, so I get 2 uses of it.
To what value?
With luck and practice, there are no limits.
Very good. Continue.
And 2. Do we have any momentum?
We
One
do.
threat, one One threat, one momentum, and or the fourth dice.
Okay.
Daring, engineering, sensor operations focus.
Yeah, you can sense in that way. That makes sense. Especially given what he's redlining. Well, glad to get it helped. Complication on the table.
Wait. Okay.
We do have +2 hits from his determination spend as well.
True.
And I have a whole nother determination there hanging out.
I will. Hang on. I can fix this. I am going to spend my Legion of Honor.
Okay.
That just kills a complication.
Yep.
Cool. So we have those +2 hits. Can I use this? Can I use my other determination to create an advantage as that says, as the sensors would also be tied into Con to give us a quicker path, so that way we're not in the galactic barrier for as long.
That I'll take that, sure.
Okay. Sensors are redlined, sir.
Understood. I thought you were doing these shields, but I'll be arranging for another senior staff meeting in about half an hour, so you can give a detailed report then.
Yes, sir.
I suppose.
Custocoms.
Senior staff meeting is summoned. Oh, you're back. Cavalli, senior staff meeting.
I'm in.
Well, I'm willing to presume that after the operation is done, they suggest that he stays in. He has bed rest for at least one day while the implant takes. But you can do that on your ship. At this point, the implant's in, so it's just a matter of waiting, and it should be like they know that you understand how normal implants work. It's just that their implant is a nano implant in his brain.
Do they part with like certain like information about how it connects and that sort of stuff?
Yep, they would have given that data over.
Okay. I figured they would be open to it, but I wasn't sure if there needed to be a roll. I probably should have made sure of that before we.
Thankfully, you're dealing with a benevolent
species.
That
I had already asked for explanation, and they seemed very like much in tune with like what she required of them. So I figured it was okay, but then we cut the scene, and I was like, oh no. So yeah, in that case, I would arrive. Haven't slept in 5 days. It's fine.
Ensign Durbin kind of rubs his forehead and just kind of sips out a mug of coffee and just blinks at it, like because it's been a long day. You guys have been at this for about 12 hours.
And I have a pad on the table as well, and I'm keeping like at least one eye on it at all times as I'm monitoring my red line.
So we have called another meeting because clearly things have progressed in one way or another, and I would like a status update before we proceed any further.
No luck yet on making contact with Rendra Station or any other Starfleet entity, Captain. They should have responded if they got the message, but there may be some interference or something else. There's no precise way to know yet.
We assumed as much, but at least it's confirmation.
Table, I'm guessing.
The shield modulations are in, and we've tied them into the sensors, and we've given in some boost to the sensor array to increase our reaction time, hopefully, and also give us the means of seeing a shorter path out of the galactic barrier. It's a bit risky, but I'm going to be monitoring it personally.
Understood. It seems part of my original plan seems sound, and at least you've run with it and come up with a much better one between the lot of you.
Given we now have practical application or applicable aspects of this plan, it should be easier to translate it across to Klingon systems. It's not just theory, it's something we've done.
If with that being the case, how long do you expect it to take for the Klingons to be ready to fully implement it?
Durbin speaks up and says, the Klingon sensors show that the Klingons have already followed our suit, and they've matched our shield modulation. The Maymok seems to be holding up since they have similar power output, and they apparently are fairly familiar with the Psi shield system.
I would suggest as though that they follow us in, since the sensor enhancements are only on our end, unless they feel like doing such things themselves.
Correct me
Yeah.
if I'm wrong, but we will be still docked with 01 during the procedure, right?
No, sir. Our their methodology is different than ours, and our shields would interfere with their shield system. They're doing something that I'm not entirely sure I understand what they're doing with their shields. But their strategy involves letting their shields degrade and letting their hull take the brunt of the force. They're basically bulldozing through, whereas we're trying to keep our arms up and shield ourselves from the onrush.
They have far more mass to protect with shields than we do, but that mass can be traded in its place.
Yeah.
Plus, as I believe they're primarily at this moment in digital space, there's less of a worry of radiation damage or other issues from the barrier.
And physical damage can be repaired at a surprisingly quick pace with their technology.
According to reports from the Maymok crew, it seems that despite their lowered personnel capability,
That brought back to life. That brought back to life, remember?
Oh, that explains these readings
Increased.
Lieutenant. No, okay, that explains a lot then. Yeah, they seem to be. I'm not getting a whole lot of questions back from them, other than simply confirming that, that asking us for confirmation. They may not be using Starfleet standard protocols, but their understanding of the engineering and scientific principles are remarkable for a Klingon vessel.
Well, from our interactions with the, I can't remember his title, but the Hoka, he seems at least a competent engineer, so that's better than nothing.
I suppose the question is if we have done all we can do to prepare, if there is more.
I mean, I don't really think there is much more we can do unless anyone here has suggestions.
The only suggestion I could think of would require the Klingons to follow us. And I'm not even certain it would work, it's just a thought. And it is a thought perhaps more from the Romulan school of approaching things.
Which is?
We have experimental torpedoes. Their effect on the barrier is unknown, but if they could be used in a manner of cascading detonations to clear a path or at least weaken the barrier before us, we might be taking less of a hit.
I
Though
worry that might interfere with the reaction protocol needed by the system, by the sensor systems.
I was thinking similar. Either the after effects of the torpedo detonations could cloud sensors, or they might alter the barrier's changes beyond the calibrations we have made. Those are both possibilities.
Well, it is possible for us, before we do any advancement into the barrier, to fire one of the quantum phase torpedoes and see what its effect would be.
There is, I believe, also the unknown element of if the barrier could be considered alive.
Well, there's that as well.
Wait, that was an option?
Yes.
It is a unique
It's just
phenomena.
confusing, like, I've never considered that.
It is an encompassing entity that exhibits psionic effects upon people. The only known instances of that, I believe, are living. Though nothing on this scale would be noted before.
I suppose.
Are we sure our galaxy is not riding on the back of a turtle on top of 4 elephants?
Excuse me, sir?
Never mind.
Sensors haven't shown that, sir.
I would very much be shocked if it did.
Sensors now might be able to see that.
It is simply a ethical consideration that seems more in line with how Starfleet approaches things.
Well, if we didn't have a different solution, I would have gone ahead with the testing of the torpedoes, but as we have a working method
Theory.
in mind, we'll probably just stick with this, because it's the best we've got at the moment.
Understood, sir. It was just a suggestion.
Oh, it's a good suggestion. Thank you for at least bringing it up.
There is one thing I might want to bring up. I hate to bring it up, but it is entirely possible that if we're wrong, we lose the ship, says Drebin.
That is true.
I believe this is the nature of space travel in general.
Doctor, I would remark that the difference is that when we travel through space, we're doing it through a known understanding of the scientific principles of faster than light travel. What we're doing here is an experimental procedure that has never been done before and is purely a LCARS theory. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it necessarily, but it is something I figured ethically I should bring up to our captain, as this may be... It's a captain's prerogative thing. If he feels that it is better to charge into the brambles and have it shredded apart than to sit out here outside, then so be it.
We don't necessarily have the means to test this theory.
And Drebin kind of shrugs like, yeah, that's kind of
beyond ourselves.
There is someone who may be about to gain some knowledge in a day or so once he wakes up?
I would think more knowledge is to be better than and going in blind, and I think we can afford a day. I mean, I'm not going anywhere.
There was the intuition of our commander earlier regarding staying stationary. I am not sure if that is something in regards to simply being outside of a galactic body, or if that was indeed just something relative to where we were in, what would you call that, dark space? There's nothing there, right?
It's as good as name as any.
Well, intergalactic deep space, but
I haven't tried to focus on that since, well, given everything that happened, I may have been wrong.
The potential is there. The potential for there to be a relevant threat is also there, and that is my job to consider. We don't know what's out here. We have already encountered this station, which is far capable of destroying us if it felt the need or the whim. To say there could be something else out here on the same scale, or larger, is perhaps not so far-fetched.
I will try to meditate on this. You do make a good point, Lieutenant.
Well, we can hold off on it for a day or two until. I assume you're talking about Cadet Zeph, Lieutenant.
Indeed, he's doing well.
Okay.
Forgive me, Doctor, but what is an engineering cadet going to be able to tell us that Cadet Ven hasn't already?
Don't count Zeft out.
He sees the star people.
Oh, I see the
I mean,
star
that is-
people.
I mean, that is another consideration. Is can we trust that Cadet Van and will actually give us an insightful information, or is he tripping?
Do you mean Cadet Zeft there, sir?
Zeph.
I mean,
Okay.
it could be Cadet Van either way.
Accusing the cadet at the table of tripping balls.
Oh, no, Zeph's the one I met. I got my
Well,
cadet
Is
So,
that
Zeph.
you
They all look the
accusing
same.
your own cadet of breaching regulation?
No,
Well, here's
I'm
here's
I'm
my-
So
concerned
I
that
haven't told
my-
you guys. No one has asked, and also
No
I
one
haven't
knows
said
this.
beyond. Yeah, that he's doing that. He was unconscious, and now he's doing better.
this is why Drebin's kind of objecting. He's like, what is some engineering cadet going to tell us that a science cadet has already told us?
I'm
Who-
interested in the ensign's question as well, Doctor.
Without breaching medical protocol, Cadet Zeft has experienced something extraordinary that I'm grateful hasn't seemed to be triggered in any of the other crew. Right? We didn't get any reports of anybody else experiencing extrasensory stuff that wasn't normal.
No.
Okay. Except for when we initially had our whole like weird shit happen.
Yeah. Doctor, are you suggesting that the galactic barrier has already influenced Cadet Zeft?
It is probably not the barrier, if my understanding is correct.
Doctor, I'm not sure how versed you are in Starfleet history, with all due respect, the last time someone interacted with the galactic barrier, they nearly lost their entire ship to a megalomaniac who thought they had perfect understanding of the universe. Should we really be putting confidence in a cadet who may have delusions of grandeur?
He says, backing a different cadet.
Well, that cadet's basing it on hard science. This guy may be seeing, he may have silver eyes and thinking he's the super denobulin that'll rule all of Starfleet. Like, that's my concern. If it is the galactic barrier, we've had very few instances of interaction, and most of them were very disastrous. Just sure give Drone a look like there's a reason I don't invite this guy to meetings.
Just to clarify, I know it's not the barrier that's causing it, right? It's or is it?
Ven is just keeping.
I believe it was assumed to be the Shiri, even by the Shiri.
Yeah, that was my understanding.
Yeah, because this all began way before. When we were out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Okay. It is my belief that this is unrelated to his or our contact with the barrier, but instead our encountering of the Shiri. In discussions with their own medical knowledge, that seems the most likely and probable. Unfortunately, there is only so much I can tell you without breaching medical protocol.
Rylov, give me a difficulty.
Oh no.
Difficulty fun.
You.
Insight plus security, difficulty of 4. Constantly watching kicks in.
Okay, I was about to ask for that anyway. Paranoid. Trait.
That's what's making this roll happen.
Oh, okay. So the paranoia focus then makes 100% sense.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Basically, it's going to be keep him under watch until he's been certified.
Also,
oh, okay. Lovely. Charming.
Actually, that's not entirely fair. Hold on.
Okay.
It would actually be comp 3. That's my bad.
Oh, that's an awful big complication. Let me take out my determination. What are our mission directives? And would one of them apply?
Not in this case, no.
Okay, had to ask.
Ven is not saying anything to contradict Draven because he's my superior and he can.
Okay. Surprising yawn. Anyway, there's the value of I'll do anything for the one I trust, because this might be something in regard to what Kaval is talking about.
I would say so. I'd say that apply here, yeah.
Yep.
Best friends.
Only friend.
Oh, well, I mean, you're my best friend. You're my only friend.
Yeah.
Tragic. Okay.
There's a Venn diagram and only one thing that exists in the middle.
Yeah.
Venn diagram?
No.
Boo.
No. Boo.
No.
I almost did a spit take.
That was bad, and you should feel bad.
Nah, I feel pretty good.
I was just trying to figure out math there. Okay, so it's a diff 4, 2 and 3. Either way, that
2 and 3, Roger.
Does the roll suddenly get harder in terms of complication?
No.
Okay. Okay, amazing. I'm
Ooh.
me. Congratulations, I'm me. So
Jesus Christ.
those were 2 solid 20s. That wasn't even the complication increase. I'm sorry. The fact that I was saying that in the clown game and it was working too is stupid. Same value.
Yeah.
I'm still me. Damn it.
Man, you've changed after that roll.
I can't even be mad because it's always in her favor.
I know. If it was
Um,
against you, that would be frustrating, but
This is why it's probably a good thing that your Star Wars game never really took off, because we would have died in like the second session.
yeah. Being a DM
You're
would be bad.
constantly watching and paranoia feeling that Drebin accidentally kind of triggered makes you consider the various security risks that Cadet Zeft could pose to the ship. But thankfully, your understanding of your own crew, your own abilities, and Zeph's abilities, and even your understanding of psionics from a security point of view, is rather, given the role, rather thorough. And there are various contingencies you already have in mind. So you do not have the GM telling you that Zeph is about to kill everybody. If he was going to, you have methods to stop him.
You contain your paranoia.
You're able to contain your paranoia. Yeah, I
probably
spent two
about
trigger
that time
paranoia.
she would notice. She would say, via contact that the medical assistance of the station offered us, Cadet Zeft currently seems to be psychologically normal for him. Excitable, but himself.
He is still an engineer, and they typically seem to be the more grounded sort, even if they are overly energetic.
Looks at Arlen. I'm not sure that's true.
Overly energetic.
That's accurate.
Well, considering we don't know what his state is going to be when he wakes, we can certainly ask him if he has any insights on our upcoming situation, but until he has been fully medically cleared and has had a mental evaluation afterwards, he will be removed from active roster.
Of course, Captain. I would never send him out without thorough testing being involved.
And if it makes the ensign a bit more at ease, Lieutenant Rylov, could you assign a security officer just to keep him company?
Of course, sir. I believe it might be appropriate to assign the cadet. They already know each other and are on relative good terms as being from the same class and assignment.
Very well, that makes sense. Anderson, does that help with your fears of the situation?
Since as long as we're keeping it in consideration, we're mitigating for it, then yeah, the risks are being accounted for, sir.
No, it's good. And before we got onto the topic of Zeph, he was asking about how we're going to do this plan anyway. I wouldn't have given the go-ahead if I had better options. But with the options we have, we're taking as much precaution as we can. We're trying to mitigate as much risk as possible for a admittedly risky thing, and that's always going to be first priority, mitigating risk to the crew.
Well, the biggest mitigation we could do, sir, is simply not go through the barrier.
True, we could just wait here indefinitely.
We'll explore other places, find other solutions, meet other species in this beyond the galaxy. There's various opportunities we have to learn more and examine more.
But unfortunately, that's not our current mission.
As you say, sir.
But again, thank you for at least bringing up the point.
And Draven nods. Sister just gives him a look and just. You can see she wants to say something, but she's from her antenna. It's more an irritation. She's getting a little testy with him, but she's deciding not to call him out or anything like that.
Lieutenant, is there anything you wish to add?
No, sir.
Okay.
Nothing that's relevant to the meeting, sir. No.
Figured as much.
She smiles and nods. Like,
anything else from anyone else here?
I don't believe so, sir.
Well, if that's the case, go on.
I think we've done all the math if we can, so it's up to you if you want to jump or not.
Well, we can hold off on for a day until the cadet has awoken, and we can ask him some questions about his whatever the doctor may believe helpful. That'll also give us time to confirm that our new settings are stable alongside with the Klingons. Yeah, for now, let's just hold off for the day and see what more information we can gain. So, be that as it may, apart from the commander, everyone else is dismissed.
Draven departs. Hits the bridge. Sister's rear. Kind of waits for Draven to step away.
I go to engineering.
Goes to engineering. You can tell Sister kind of lingers a bit in the conference room for a second and just kind of takes a deep breath, calms herself, and then heads to the bridge.
Mm-hmm. I assume Caval's going to medical.
Yeah, I got a patient.
Oh, fair. I'm going to the bridge then, because someone has to.
Someone has to do their job around here.
Yeah, well, aside from, in command doesn't work amazingly.
Assume the cadet also leaves. Being dismissed.
He's just asleep.
Oh.
So sort of sleep where you chuckle to yourself. Oh, he's going. Oh, where's he going?
He's just phased through the elevator.
Presumably back to the bridge, unless Arlen needs me down in engineering.
You can. I do not specifically need you in engineering, so you can go where your commanding officer best, where your department head best needs you.
Okay, yeah, that'll be the bridge.
Ensign Draven will promptly ask you, why are you on the bridge? You're supposed to be observing Cadet Zeft.
Right.
And then he orders you to go to the medical bay to look after our new, your classmates' newfound abilities. When he wakes up, anyway.
Okay. Then we'll go down to medical then.
Because Ensign Draven's in a great mood today.
I can tell.
And he's not gonna take it out on me at all. No,
nope,
sir.
not at all.
No.
Well, if we survive the transition
actually,
through the barrier, he's free to transfer.
Wait. Before I go down to medical then, because I'm getting this vibe off of him. Emotions am I picking up off of Draven?
Insight Medicine or security, difficulty 1.
Uh-huh. Insight, medicine.
Or security.
Yeah.
Gives you different answers. That's why I'm giving you that option. There's different insights you could get from him.
I'll go with medicine for now.
Okay.
I'll spend 1 momentum. I don't have a focus. And I get that momentum back.
Get the momentum back. You get the sense from him that he is under a high level of strain and stress, and it's starting to fray at him. So he's getting really, and it seems to be exacerbated by your proximity to the galactic barrier. Like, he is not comfortable at all being this close to the barrier. Even with all the protections and everything, it's like telling someone who's phobic to fire, don't worry, the fire's just over there. That's nice, but that's still a fire.
That's why Kaval wasn't sassier about his complaints.
Yep.
Sir, I'm not super thrilled about going through the giant psychic barrier either. I know. These kinds of things don't tend to play well with betazoids like us.
It's not us that I'm worried about, Cadet. It's the people who aren't psionically trained. If we lose 4/5 of the crew or more, we're down to a skeleton crew with a damaged ship and a bunch of untrained psychics unleashing their abilities upon each other in the ship. So, yeah, I'm a bit concerned, Cadet. Hopefully your plan works. Otherwise, we won't live long enough to regret it.
And Vent just... he tenses up because, oh god, you just...
Also,
yeah.
thanks, Trebin. Fitness medicine difficulty of 2.
Yeah.
Existential dread. Have fun, kid.
Good pep talk, boss.
There's a reason Trebin's an ensign.
Yep. Does my trait of go-getter change it at all?
Not really, no.
Does Kaval get a surprising amount of, like, crying science crew?
Spending a momentum. Did you say you were putting a complication range on this?
Nope. I just spent to make it diff 2. That's all.
Okay. Hey.
Yep. And with that roll as well, I'll give you the information that it would seem Drebin has a unspoken trauma that involves the galactic barrier.
Oh,
that
fun.
And he kind of Betazoid to Betazoid kind of unloaded that on you. Unintentionally, he probably didn't realize he was doing it, and you were kind of peering into his head a little bit, so it's kind of that feedback of, ugh. Yeah. Apparently, the ensign's had a bad experience with the galactic barrier in his past. He just doesn't talk about it much.
Yeah. Ven wouldn't have gone prying as much if it weren't for the fact that Draven was also a Betazoid like him, and
so it's that sort of that occasional time where a Betazoid share the pain for good, and sometimes in this case because Draven's not the
and it's just more common for Betazoids to talk to each other telepathically, just as matter of interaction.
Matter of course,
matter of interaction. But yeah. Okay, with that out of the way, I'm gonna go down to medical.
Okay. I step away from the mic once more, but I'll be right back.
Oof.
Yeah, Draven just has a lovely habit of rubbing people the wrong way.
Just a very confused Kaval. Why are all of the science crew like depressed? I don't understand.
Oh man.
Why are you crying? Why are you leaking? Get out of Get out of my office. Suck it up, rub some dirt in it. I don't know.
But he keeps saying mean things.
They're not mean, they're just concerning. I don't know, go do yoga with Ram. I don't know.
And back. Frolic and Pend. You have the conference room, I believe.
Captain?
Penn's gonna lean back in his chair. Opinions?
Rue's holding it together, but I think it would be good to emphasize rest during this day where we're evaluating. We've been going since we were, well, since before we were thrown outside the barrier, really.
Yeah, because we were rushing to the location of the potential fire.
The crew has been at a state of near yellow alert, or in some instances a red alert, for the better part of a few days, Captain. And while that's not precisely wearing on me, well, kind of shrugs. As for the plan, I think it seems solid. Like I said, I'll try and meditate and see if I gain any insights, but
Anything you would do differently?
well, there is the possibility of moving non-essential personnel over onto the Shiri ship. 01 seems confident in its ability to get through without damage in a way that we're perhaps not as suited for.
True. But that plan of action, I believe, is designed for that station with no one on board.
I don't know precisely how much the hull of that ship provides in terms of shielding. It seems as though it provides quite some amount, and I don't know how that would be affected by the barrier. It's simply a consideration.
Well, we could give the order when we're commencing for any non-essential personnel to head to the centre of the Achilles, or as much as possible. Might not do much or
Frankly,
anything.
I don't think that would make much of a difference. I think we're either getting through this or not, sir.
Yeah, that's the kind of feeling I'm getting as well. The problem is I'm not getting much of a better idea.
No. While Ensign Draven's comments about staying out here are, I believe, misguided, I am sure there would be some amount of the crew who would empathize with the idea. I agree that these are not our orders, and we're not in a position to be doing that.
If we had the supply line to do it, it is something I would consider. But we don't. As far as
Exactly.
how we're stationed at the moment, if we run out of something, that's it. As where if we can get back in, it's something we can look at maybe at a later date if this works. But yeah.
I'll be preparing the ship to, or with the expectation that we might suffer heavy damage. But there's only so much my contingency plans can really help with.
Agreed. That's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted as much of the crew into the centre of the ship as possible in case of breaches.
Actually, to inform you about their Pend, when you call a red alert on the ship, standard procedure for all Starfleet and our crew aboard a ship is to go into the safest parts of the ship.
Okay.
With that in mind, that's standard. Anyone who's aboard a ship would be, even civilians, would be. Look, if we red alert, go to this room. Do not leave that room. That is the safest place for you.
Yeah, that's a case of player not knowing.
Yeah. So I thought I'd fill you in. That's something that'd be standard for
Equivalent to going into the interior room lowest in the house with no windows.
Like anyone who has an outside room would be like,
Yeah.
Your quarters, you're not going to be in there. What? You're on the outer bit of the hull. That's the first place that's going to lose hull. You're going to want to be further in.
Well, if that's the case, if you wish to set up some orders for extended relaxation over the next day, then head off to your meditation.
Sir.
And
I'll let you know if I have any more intuitions. I'm not confident in the last one.
I mean, your last one wasn't inherently wrong. If we would have done things differently, that would have been it. And that station surely has the capability of devastating us. Or just completely destroying us.
Yes, I'm just... I don't know. This isn't an ability I know what to do with, sir.
Unfortunately, the only training I ever had was how to resist it.
Nod a little bit. Well, I'll head to my office then.
Very well. Keep me up to date if you do get an insight. I'm going to continue to look through the data we have, see if anything jumps out at me, but I doubt it.
Sir.
Dismissed, even though it's not needed.
Cool. Get up and...
A new scene comes up. Over the course of the day, most of the crew take this opportunity to sleep. Those species who don't need to sleep right away find non-work activities to do. The Klingons do not leave without you. They think it's better to stay grouped together in case enemies meet them on the other side. They'd rather not leave you behind, after all. The space station is likewise hanging about. Is there any tasks people do over the day, or does everyone just take that time to rest?
I'm totally doing my robot fight club. It's going to be the junkyard version where I just give them a box of scraps and have in 3 hours to make a robot. But this can be after everyone sleeps, and then we're gonna run our tournament just to kick back and have fun and relax.
Except is so pouting about not getting to go.
I'll give you presence engineering for that, Arlen, given what you're trying to do. Div 2 still. As you're helping organize the event.
Possible focus in technical insight or tinkering.
Tinkering, given what you're suggesting.
All right, and take a threat.
Sure.
Oh shit, it's a new scene.
Yep.
Good fish.
3 momentum generated as you're able to organize an impromptu fighting tournament that, it kind of happens a little bit before Alpha Shift really starts in earnest. So some people wake up a little early to compete. Others going, I'll just watch it from my bed or what have you. But some people are like, well, I'm already up and around anyway. Or like, oh, I just finished my shift, so I'll do it. So even people who are a little too tired or they're going to be starting the shift soon, they kind of some of them will watch and stuff.
I'll broadcast it for those who want to.
Yeah. So engineering has a bit of fun before the Alpha Shift of the new day starts.
Could I possibly use that to create an advantage edge of relaxed engineering crew?
Yep. That isn't it. That won't cost momentum. That's what the roll was. So the engineering crew is especially relaxed. Does anyone else do anything before the new Alpha Shift? Other than rest?
I'm going and doing my thing.
Is that you asking me for a hint, or are you trying to dive into the ocean?
I'm trying to dive into the ocean, but Thralic doesn't know that that's what she's doing.
Okay.
Because she's not trained.
Daring plus medicine. Daring command.
And yes, I recognize this is a terrible idea.
Difficulty of 3, complication of 2.
Do I have a focus here? No, I really don't. Okay. I'm gonna spend momentum for 2 dice.
That first one's a comp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is the last one.
No, comp 2
Yep.
is
Oh,
19.
Yeah. Also, I'm not making the roll right now. So I am gonna spend my determination. Okay. Value. The gods visit the sins of the fathers upon the children. It is my duty to establish a legacy now.
I will take that.
Now, feels pushed to do this. Rerolling 2. I've set my comp right now. Okay.
In the vastness of the ocean of consciousness, you find yourself surrounded in a grand ocean of violet and purple, swaying, rising, and falling. You can feel the thoughts of the crew, the thoughts of the Klingon crew, and you can feel the presence of towering figures on the horizon.
Weird.
what is it you try to seek amidst the ocean of consciousness?
So consciously
Mm-hmm.
gonna be trying to like see kind of what's the right wording on this? To see the kind of interaction between the ship and the galactic barrier, I guess. That's what she's trying to do.
Say that again? I think I may have
To
misheard
see
you.
kind of what like to see a little bit more of what the galactic barrier is here.
For momentum, I'll answer that.
Okay. Spend.
It would seem, as you focus upon that part of the ocean, that there is a, you know, when there's when they're trying to prevent flooding from happening, they put on these big stone things to break the floodwaters.
No.
That's kind of what that is. To grossly oversimplify. But that's essentially what that is. It's meant as a sort of breakwater, a sort of floodgate barrier from other sources outside of the galaxy entering in. Unfortunately, going out through it, it kind of has the same problem. And it's actually, when you look through it forward in the ocean, you can actually see a sort of rising wall that divides the ocean. But it's not like a wall of stone and mortar and brick. It's like this paper thin, shining sheen of energy. The ocean still flows through it, but you notice that it's the water is much calmer and steady as you get closer and closer and closer to the barrier.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it's almost this strange, like as it gets within like so many spans of distance, it's rising and falling of an ocean, a massive into the horizon ocean, and then as it gets closer, it's perfectly level, like impossibly perfectly level and still. And it's kind of like that on both sides of it. And even as you drift closer, you get this instinctual feeling of, if you get too close to it, you'll be stilled as well.
Okay.
Because the ocean is you. You are the ocean.
Yeah. Not gonna get too close to that.
But I will notice not destroying the water.
Yeah. Interesting. I guess it's also gonna look around basically for like danger, I guess? Like
I would normally charge momentum for that, but you're gonna be given that back because you lack data to truly comprehend the level of danger that exists within the ocean. Any more than I would if I just started swimming out to the Atlantic. There's danger out there somewhere if I think about it long enough, but how probable is that? I don't know. I'm not enough of I'm not a deep sea swimmer.
Yeah, that's fair.
So there are threats. You do know that, but they're not in the immediate vicinity. There's nothing in imminent threat to you that you can see plainly.
Okay.
But there's obviously must be something. You're enough of a Starfleet officer to know that there's The unexpected can either be incredibly wonderful or incredibly dangerous, or both.
Wonderfully dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Also that one. Okay, so consciously that's what she's doing. Subconsciously, I think there's a lot more going on, and I feel like I should bring that up since she made it into the ocean, and that might have ramifications. I don't know
Would
if
you
it
like
will,
to
but it
give
might.
me a threat?
Sure.
I'll spend.
Threat's
So
interesting.
I'm gonna spend those 2 threat. Fitness plus medicine, difficulty of 2.
All right.
As something occurs to you and the ocean becomes turbulent.
This medicine.
Or insight medicine, that might either one, whichever one's better actually.
That's one better. So I'll take it. I'll buy a 3rd die, I guess. Yeah, momentum. We have some. Don't have to ask about focus because I have a 1. I rolled a 1. Nice.
1 momentum generated. You notice that the towering figures on the horizon, as they move and approach closer and closer, the ocean swells and drops and swells and drops dramatically to the point that you feel yourself bobbing drastically up and down, up and down. And you notice that even the still water near the barrier starts to actually ripple as they get closer and closer. And because you gave me the threat, you recognize that those towering figures are the Shiri.
I mean, they seem benevolent, but also,
The Star People. Goel has it on the head.
Mm-hmm. So it's like they're moving through the ocean and causing a bunch of disturbance in it, kind of.
Yes. And I will note that they are towering like massive monoliths,
Yeah.
skyscrapers, whereas you are waist deep in floating in the water.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's weird.
They are beacons of light that cast a wide shine across the ocean in all directions. That's why it's so easy to see them from even far away. Like it's hard not to see them. And you get the sense that they are purposely trying not to get too close to you while you're doing this.
Huh. Okay.
Like that swell wasn't that sudden swell was not intentional. They didn't mean to do that.
How massive of a scale are we talking about here in comparison to like the
A fish to
area?
a whale.
No, not me to them.
Okay.
Them to like what I can see of where the barrier is calming the ocean.
For momentum, I'll answer that. They, given their scale, if they stood dead center where the barrier was, they would cover the entire span of stillness from one end to the other. Whereas you are but a tiny fish in comparison. It would take you a long time to go through stillness before you hit the barrier, and then there's even more stillness beyond it before you hit turbulent water again.
Fascinating. Don't know what to do with this information, but fascinating. um. Is there anything else I should do while I'm here? Milk. How much danger do the giants pose? I guess.
Do you like mean in general, or?
I guess in general, yeah. I think what Throlic is trying to figure out is like, were the Shiri the thing she was picking up on before?
Oh,
That's like massively run away.
for momentum, I'll answer that.
Okay, yeah, I'll spend.
Yes and no. I hate to be that vague, but
Yeah.
yes and no is the correct answer. I don't want to mislead you and say just yes, because that isn't quite correct, but saying no is also not correct. But yes and no is correct. Yes, it was the reason why it triggered your ability, but probably not for the reason you're thinking. Unfortunately, Throlic isn't a member of the Watch, so there's not a whole lot I can do there.
I think Throlic is very confused and in over her depth right now, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I'm not sure if she knows how to just, like, snap out of this. Shoot.
If you as the player believe she's gained as much as she can for now, she will wake out of it. She has some unconscious level of control, and you're just kind of you're the one at the wheel, whether Throlic knows it or not, as it were.
Yeah.
Because I didn't put her in here, you did. So.
Yeah, this is fair point. Fair point. I don't think she knows anything more of what to do, you know? So, I think she's just gonna leave with some confusion.
Very good. Does anyone else have anything they wish to have done during the day's rest before the following alpha shift?
I gotta check in on Zeft.
Give me insight medicine, difficulty of 2.
Okay. Insight medicine. I am going to spend a momentum.
Cadet party and Zeph's operating.
Would the doctor be able to help me with this?
She certainly could.
leading this roll, but whatever. Wow, that was just a straight crit. Awesome, I got that momentum back.
Insight medicine?
Yep.
I honestly, like, I don't know, medical technology?
Medical technology would apply here, actually.
Okay.
I'll take the first die.
Oh,
There's a total. That's a
oops,
total of
sorry.
4 hits. It's okay. $50 fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
So the two of you are able to discern that although it seems that Cadet Zeft is like he does wake eventually. Like during the night, he sleeps because it's nighttime and normal people. Well, I would say normal people sleep, but for Denobulan, he's sleeping out of the norm because he went through a major surgery, so he's resting. Eventually, he does
I had
wake
the
up.
mental overload even before that.
Yeah. So he kind of wakes out of it. He's a bit groggy. And you kind of learn that his grogginess, as Alpha Shift approaches, is not because he's in any particular medical distress or danger in particular. Like, it's not like the implant is doing anything bad to him. It's the fact that Denobulan was forcibly put asleep or forcibly made unconscious for a prolonged period of time outside his sleep cycle. So he's having the worst groggy morning of his life. Like, he fell asleep when he really shouldn't have, and now he's being woken up. Not by you, just his body's waking him up because he's not supposed to be sleeping.
Yes.
And now he's kind of like, he's kind of useless today because he's in a persistent, like, he'll chat and go, "Oh, hey, how you doing? That's nice. Doctor, can I have the lights a little lower, please?" Like, he tries to be friendly and chipper, but it's kind of hard when you feel like you're half asleep. He's like, "Oh,
Poor
my God."
guy. Hey, it's okay, man.
He's got like a hangover, poor baby.
Hey, I'm not going anywhere, man. Well, at least not until the end of the shift.
I think, like, maybe while Vin is here, I might look over his plan just to see if I catch anything medically that they missed while I was busy.
Give me reason medicine, difficulty of 2.
Okay.
Assisted by computer's medicine, I presume you would look it up get the computer to help you figure out your problem.
Either medical technology or maybe disaster medicine for contingencies.
I'll have to say no to both, unfortunately.
Okay. Paranoia.
You could, yeah.
Uh-oh. Like the way that was said.
You should, based off
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Okay, take a threat.
Sure.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Glad I did it. What's the difficulty?
2. Plus computer's medicine for the shift.
Computers, medicine.
This is my best roll. What the heck?
Hey. So the biggest concern, medically speaking, it seems they've taken into account the sonic shielding. That's the big scary thing about the barrier, is that it can have profound psychic impact on basically anyone living. Any handling levels of any amount is in peril the minute they approach it. And if they are an android or robot, they're in peril for a different reason. Or if they have implants, like cyborgs and stuff, they will have problems from the gamma radiation. So that's a different problem. But given the shields they've done, given it's changing all the time, and assuming the ship does not linger in the anomaly for very long, they should be fine. It's like running through a room that's on fire with clothes that will burn away if you stay in the fire long enough. But if you run through it, you'll be fine. You'll be on fire briefly, but you can put it out. So they've done that. However, there is the one thing I will point out is if they do slow down, or they stop, or they linger, or the shield isn't quite as good as they think it is, then you're in real trouble because you're in the middle of a burning house. And you don't have the proper protection. At which point, there's nothing you can do for them medically. At that point, you're surrounded by the galactic barrier and you're screwed. So either this works 100% or
it doesn't.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
So you're saying we have to run through the burning door?
You don't have to. You can stay on this side of the burning door. You're the one that's running through it. I'm just saying. From a medical perspective, it's an all or nothing thing. But it's not like you're running through unprotected. It's not complete madness. It's like, no, you can. It's theoretically they've done everything they could do.
Yeah.
But then again, theoretically, no one's ever done. There's only been like 2 other ships that's ever done this in history. So
yeah, the theory is sound as long as things go according to plan, which is to say that they never do. But
yeah. The only other thing you could possibly do to add to your paranoia, I suppose, is to sedate or stasis the entire crew. And that way, at the very least, if the ship happens to drift through the other side, they might be recovered. Like, that'd be the way to do it. Because if everyone's unconscious, then even if they're sonically awakened, if they're unconscious, they can't react. They can't do anything. But then you have a ship that's basically flying on autopilot, and it wakes up on the other side. So it's like having a generational ship. You just have to hope that on the other side you wake up when you're supposed to.
Yeah. Or someone finds you.
Yeah.
That our messages to Narendra got through. And Narendra's still there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, space isn't on fire on the other side for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd probably send those updates to relevant department heads.
Well,
you're welcome.
That's encouraging.
Yeah.
But
medically speaking, the plan is sound as long as things go to plan.
Yeah. The only extra thing you could do is sedate the entire crew for the journey.
Yeah, and I wouldn't send that to everybody, but I would send that to Pend for his consideration. But we could run on a skeleton crew and sedate everyone else, and then at least if it's just it goes badly, just some of us maybe die horribly from gamma radiation or going insane.
Well, I would correct you there, Doctor. You wouldn't want to keep anyone, because if someone is still awake and they lose it and become megalomaniacs.
Well, at that point, then there would need to be fail safes for that as well. Yeah. Which could exist.
I suppose I see your reasoning. Okay.
They may or may not work, but if you're experiencing that, you may or may not stay in stasis anyway. Who knows if we have breaches?
True.
So I'd probably shoot that to Pend just for his extra consideration. But I wouldn't send that to everybody. But I would send everybody else. Oh, hey, this in theory is medically sound as long as things go to plan. I think that's a fair assessment.
Oh, the only other medical thing is that you were hoping to consult Zeft. Unfortunately, Zeft is not medically.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. Yeah, he would need it. They did recommend maybe up to 5 days or something like that, right? Medical rest.
They said at least a day of observation, and the thing that they probably didn't realize is that denobulans aren't supposed to sleep unless they're supposed to sleep, and so he's kind of he is awake. You could forcibly get him to answer questions, but he's gonna be a little loopy.
Yeah, and I'd probably make Pend aware of that as well. On the bright side, doesn't appear to be wanting to play God.
Yeah, there is that.
Just wanting the lights to be at 35%. It's fine.
Is there anything either Ryloth or Pend are going to do before the following alpha shift?
Yes, but I'll see if Ryloth has something to do first.
For Romulus attacks the entire crew.
I'd like to detonate the bomb.
Okay, well.
Oh.
Probably not,
Fail.
honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rylef just gets good old quality sleep, unlike the rest of you weirdos who are like
Yeah.
go-getters and stuff.
Just, oh, no. Like, no.
I get off time. I'm taking it. Damn it.
He's leading by example because there's no real need for security at the moment.
Yeah.
You get a message when you wake up from Kamal. We're all probably going to die horribly.
I was already aware of that fact.
Pend.
Well, first off, I'll respond to the data I received from the doctor, and I would make the option for people if they wish to be sedated whilst travelling through as a risk mitigation, a choice to anyone who wishes to take it, barring key personnel.
Could make it seem like just in case you're anxious.
Okay, so let's see how many people will volunteer themselves to go out. Because, oh god, Galactic Barrier is scary. It is the boogeyman of interstellar travel for Starfleet. Because, oh god. I'm paraphrasing, obviously.
Of course.
Right, we will go with this. Boop. Despite the relative level of stress the crew seems to be feeling and nervousness, everyone, given the choice, would rather be awake during the red alert and at their stations or in their auxiliary station as required. If they're gonna go out, they're gonna go out at their post.
Oh, that seems right.
That's good to hear. Well, not good to hear, but you knew what I meant.
What you mean? Yeah.
Reassure.
They believe in you, Pinned.
Oh, poor bastards.
This is the Achilles. The Achilles has gone through some crap. And some of these people are veterans of Tiger Squadron. So like, you know what? I'd rather be awake when this happens.
Yeah. How many times did the Kismet blow up?
Yeah.
They were always fine, right?
But yeah, the actual thing that I wanted to do was during the downtime during that day was going through the systems of what we've learned and what we already have, because Pend has been stressed whether he shows it to the crew or not. So like with the whole Klingons, the Aldemona, the Romulans showing up, shooting into intergalactic space, trying to come back. So he's trying to find some more maybe relaxation techniques, maybe something from a different species. I don't know.
Reason Command or Con difficulty 2, assisted by computers plus relevant department.
I'll go Reason Command and I'll give you a threat.
Okay.
Would you allow composure?
I will. Not in this case, because you're trying to. Oh no, I'll take a composure for a different reason. Not that you're trying to be composed. You're trying to find something that'll help you regain your composure. same difference in that way.
So because of reason I get a reroll and bold I get a reroll. Huzzah! Don't fucking need it. Was it computer's command?
Computer's command, yep.
So what came 3? Was it a diff 2 or 3, sorry?
2. So 3 momentum generated. As you do find some methods that are tried and true methods that Starfleet captains have done to kind of help regain their composure, to relax, especially not only to relax, but relaxation things that you can do in a short period of time because you basically have to be ready to get to the bridge in a hurry. That sort of thing. So very passive, relaxing things, but still mentally engaging, something to distract yourself from, well, your duties as normal, so you can actually kind of let your brain unpack and relax and think about something that's not nearly as daunting. So you actually have the advantage that you are as relaxed as one could be in the circumstances.
Sweet.
As you get the feeling, and also you get the feeling that you're not the first, there's some comfort your character probably takes in the fact that you're not the first captain that's had to face such daunting odds and then like, well, time to find some way to chill out and get your head together before you go off into the great unknown.
Time to actually look like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, even if you don't, at least look like you do. So, a new day dawns. Information is gathered. People attend to their stations. What is the order?
Well, first off, I'd like to try and spend my determination to create an advantage.
Okay.
The advantage being due to Penn's relaxation and the fact that he's got the trait of commanding presence. Mm-hmm. Maybe his presence on the bridge is a calming effect.
To what value?
Mission directive, I'm literally trying to get everyone home right now.
I will certainly take that. I will certainly take that advantage being created. So there's a general advantage, which will stack with the one, Arlen, that you already have. That even though your engineering staff are pretty relaxed, there's that additional layer of, okay, Captain Penn is on the scene, he's on the bridge, he's dead focused, he has that steely-eyed Starfleet captain swagger to him. Well, not swagger, but you get what I mean, that presence. And that's kind of giving a bit of, all right, we're doing this. And the captain thinks it's the best move. All right, I guess we're doing this. If he thought this was a shitty idea, he wouldn't shut up about it. So,
Well, let's make sure the Klingons know that once they start to not stop. And apart from that, let's fire up the shields and the rotating frequencies.
Aye, Captain. Raising shields.
Yo, alert, all hands. Captain, course laid in for Narendra Station. Maximum warp. On your order.
Signal to the Klingons is ready to send, Captain.
Send.
The Klingon ship acknowledges your transmission.
Message
They're basically synchronizing with your warp. They're going to warp when you do.
Mm-hmm. Message acknowledged, Captain.
So it's just for... Let's head home.
He doesn't say or die trying, but that's there.
And the ship goes to warp into the Klingon ship and the Starfleet ship go to warp, and their shields glow like bright bulbs of light as they zip quickly through the massive, nigh impenetrable cloud. As the massive ring slowly plunges into the cloud as it pierces the galactic barrier. And that is it for today's episode.